Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Hey, it's going all right. It's been a very busy weekend, but that's all right. There's a oh boy, there is a lot for us to talk about tonight, or it seems like there is anyway. We obviously we've got all these the Grammy stuff to talk about. Well, not I mean, you can talk about it. I don't really care about the Grammys because I don't
No,
care
you know
about
what? I
all
don't
these
really care
music
about it
people, but
either. I honestly, I barely even, just for the fact that there were a few political jokes and things like that, then I looked into it and I just like, I saw really a few clips. I think that more than anything, the real story is how much nobody cares. I think that uh, it stuns me sometimes how they don't realize how every single thing that they do only hurts them more and more when it comes to people that don't feel like going to movies to see some of these actors, these artists who are not very good. The music, we know the music hasn't been good in a long time. Also, acting like they're so important. You know what I mean? I keep hearing about this like Bad Bunny and like Billie Eilish and whatever. I would never listen to those. You know what I mean? Like, let me put it this way. Not only would I not listen to them, and this is the best explanation I have for you. If I was now like a teenager and you played Bad Bunny and Billie Eilish to me, I think that there was something wrong with you. Meaning, I'd be like, "Oh, you listen to lame, shitty music." You know what I mean? Like, and
oh
not only
yeah,
that,
no question.
the consensus of the time would be that you're listening, because that was like there were some rare years that actually good music was on the radio. So even if you like, just if you took a time machine, you know what I mean, we're Marty McFly, I don't know, we're taking back, but instead of Chuck Berry, showing them how it's done, like how Chuck Berry invented it before he invented it, here we'd be bringing like people that usually, they want to listen to like Metallica or the grunge or classic rock or Led Zeppelin or I don't know what, and we're playing like and the Beatles, and we're playing Billie Eilish to them. They'd be like, "What is this shit?" You know what I mean?
It's pretty terrible. There's absolutely there's absolutely nothing about these artists that attracts me in any way at all. They've got Bad Bunny, who's going to be playing the Super Bowl. I think this is going to be the worst ratings for the Super Bowl halftime show in an extremely long time. I think there's going to be a lot of people that have no interest whatsoever in tuning into this. Oh, hey, Price, I'm hearing some background noise. I think you might be on the wrong mic, buddy.
You think so?
Yeah, it's picking up stuff your mic doesn't normally pick up. So,
Is it better now?
there we go. Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh,
It actually
good,
sounded
good.
fine before this stream, but then yeah, I think maybe you moved back away from your computer or something. I was like, oh
I
yeah,
mean,
that might
it's
be the wrong
probably
mic.
not the worst. Yeah, I mean, even the other mic is probably not the worst thing that ever happened, but this is better.
Nah, you're fine. You're good.
Anyhow, when it comes to Bad Bunny, his thing is those kind of annoying beats that like somebody mumbles over and sounds like he's about to fall asleep. That's what, and then he puts you to sleep. That's like Bad Bunny. And Billie Eilish is like is a singer that's too lazy to sing into the microphone, so she's just like that's what all of
Oh
her
yeah.
songs sound like. I honestly, I'm telling you, like if you took, let's say, if you okay, here's the best way I can put it. If you took, let's say, Alice in Chains or Soundgarden, and you traveled back in time and you found like people that like the Beatles or the Beatles themselves or things like that, and said, "Hey, I'm from the future. Listen, this is some rock and roll from the future." I think that they'd be like, "This is pretty cool." You know what I mean? Like, "Oh, what is this sound? It's different. It's interesting." I think people would be kind of, felt that you brought something interesting, futuristic, and cool into the picture. Whereas if I show up in this, like, I honestly think that I feel like if I show up in the '60s and everybody's like playing like this cool rock, or even and later the '70s, there's like punk and progressive rock and all this shit. '90s with grunge. I come back and I bring them like Billie Eilish and Bad Bunny. I will be laughed out of any room, in my opinion. It's like it's shit music, in my opinion. For people who are, not. I don't want to be mean. If you all love Billie Eilish and Bad Bunny, it's fine. I don't want to throw everybody under the bus. You're allowed to like them, but I consider it, and this is just my own personal opinion, shitty music. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, it is absolutely not anything I am interested in at all. There's nothing about it that appeals to me. But then on the other hand, I have never been somebody who's really been interested in like current, like, popular music, there was some stuff in the 90s. I was kind of like, yeah, there were some interesting
What do you
sounds.
listen to? Yeah, I always
Oh, what
it's
do I
always a mystery. What do you listen
what
to
do
these
I
days?
listen to? If I'm listening to, if I'm like, man, I feel like listening to something, I'm going back and I'm listening to really like some early progressive rock. I'm listening to classic rock, stuff from the 60s, 70s, stuff like that. It's I don't have a particularly like strong taste in any one direction. I just don't listen to a lot of music, frankly. My whole life I've spent a lot more time like listening to audiobooks or listening frankly listen to, back in the day, listen to a lot of talk radio when I had to work in a job where really, you were spending a bunch of time at a desk and you could maybe listen to some radio or something. A lot of times it was talk radio, but it just depends. It depends on what's out there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like what I like. That's kind of how I am. There's lots of different things that I enjoy. Listen to a lot of '80s music, classic, stuff from the '80s. But I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. Anyhow, still don't really get what your top things that you listen to are, but
Again, the reality is I just don't listen to all that much music. But if I'm going to go back and listen to stuff, I mean, I could go look in my iTunes, my music library or something, and see like what are my top played things. Although it's going to be polluted with the stuff that I listen to with my kids. It's going to be kind of hard. Uh,
I see.
let's see, like who are some of my top artists in here? Maybe I can suss out something from all of the stuff that I listen to with my kids. I mean, yeah, it's like I said, it's mostly like kind of classic rock, some early progressive rock. Gosh, still listen to a fair amount of classical music. Not like a lot. Stuff from like some from the 90s. There was alternative that I enjoyed, various bands. In the early days, I enjoyed the Bare Naked Ladies. That was a band that I listened to a lot when they were popular. Not so much anymore. Some of their later albums after Stephen Page left were not
At least they do make a
worth
lot of money
listening
from The
to.
Big Bang Theory, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they do. They
I think the
do at
best thing that
that.
ever happened to
Yes.
that band is, like, somebody wanted, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, I know some people like that song. That song is kind of annoying in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not
The
great.
whole world of it's like some dumb whatever. I guess it's fine for a TV show, but it's like, it doesn't give me the feeling that I wanna listen to this band beyond that shitty song. Sorry, Sean. I mean, I won't argue it was the theme song, they're making money off it, I can't argue with
No,
their
sure.
success. I suppose it was good for a theme song for a show like that. I can't hate on them for making a few dollars, but there's something that feels a bit shitty about that song. It's kind of, like, cheesy and stupid, but whatever, that's just my opinion. It's okay if you like it.
No, I mean, I never thought it was all that good
I mean, I hope they have better
as a theme
songs than that,
song.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No. Oh no, they have a lot of other songs, especially like I said earlier on, when they were uh, when they were really new and getting started, they still had Stephen Page. They still had a lot of really creative ideas, having fun. Actually, I saw got to go to a concert with them, which was the most fun I think I've ever had at a concert. They were
Oh, wow, and
they
I destroyed them. I'm so sorry, Professor.
no, I'm not. No, I you said one song you didn't like. It's fine. But
Really,
they
the
were,
truth is I don't know any other songs. It's the only song
yeah,
that I
it's
know,
fine.
so my only reference for this band is that each time that show started, it had that kind of song. It wasn't
Yeah.
my favorite song, but if you tell me they have other
No, no,
songs that
no.
don't sound like that one, then I would accept that maybe they're
They
better.
they they have many other songs. The only thing it's rather hard for me to forgive is that they're Canadian. But I can forgive Vex for being Canadian, so I guess I can forgive the
She's
Bare Naked
barely
Ladies.
Canadian. By the way, I thought of Vex this week. I don't know if it was already a week ago or whenever it was. I was doing a Star Trek review, and I said something, and I thought to myself like, I hope people don't think I'm like a terrible person for saying whatever I said here. And then I thought of Vex, and I thought, nah, it's fine. like meaning I'm like the nicest person, you know what I mean? Like I thought of her, and I'm like, it's okay, I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know if I explained myself well, but I think you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Basically, she'll usually say something that's like 10 times more offensive, so I'm just like, whatever, it'll be fine. So yeah, and thank you, by the way. That was a very difficult episode to review.
So bad. And it just it was absolutely packed full of little member berries from all of these little places, and they were all completely unnecessary. They served no real purpose
It
in
was
the plot.
terrible.
And they
You
also
know,
just they just they took like all the Klingon lore, like everything that we've learned about Klingons, everything we know about them, and they just threw it out the window. Like it just forget it. We don't need to know any of the all that stuff that we learned about Klingons, about how their warrior culture and how they it's like honor above all, and how they work with deal with other societies and stuff. How they had an empire with lots of planets, but apparently when one of those planets gets blown up, they're all just refugees now. Like everything that we knew, all the stuff that we had learned about them, just out the window. So it was dreadful,
it was
absolutely
such a
dreadful.
sniveling thing. I do wanna show you. I don't know why this made me laugh. This is the part where I thought of Ex Electronica. You know why? You want me to play it for you? Because I did like, obviously I can't play the audio of the episode, and I did the dubbing of the characters, which obviously I'm not good at dubbing them. And I did it, and I said, "Is this too much? Did I go too far here?" And then I kind of, how sometimes in those movies you have like the angel and the devil sitting on your shoulder and talking to you. You know that feeling?
Yes, yes.
So I thought to myself, so I had a little vex, and I thought to myself, yeah, I could totally post this. This is fine. Do you want to see? Do you do you want to see what part I meant?
Sure.
Okay. By the way, I couldn't have done the review without you. Really, thank you so much. I
You're
put a
welcome.
special title at the end thanking the professor because the quote from the next generation, that's something that I wouldn't have known. Like, maybe afterwards a few other people said some stuff, but you immediately said it like really quickly. And that really helped me. I saw the episode where the quote was at, but I actually just didn't remember the first second because I don't know. I've seen every episode of the next generation, but I haven't seen every episode many times, so it's not like I remember every quote. Once I looked at what that episode was, I 100% remembered it. It also made me feel like, wow, the next generation, that's like real writing, that's a real episode compared to this
Indeed, it
crap.
was. Yeah.
So here's the part. Is Vex even still in the audience, or did she run away?
I think she's still listening from her bed.
Anyhow, if she's still in bed listening, then this is the moment that I thought of Vex Electronica while doing the
Yeah.
review. Let's see. I'll share it. Hold on. I'm trying to wait a second. Okay, I think I'm ready. Are you ready, Professor?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Oh, you're not sharing it. Yeah,
Oh,
presentation
sorry.
mode.
Good,
Yep.
good, good, good catch. Good
Yep.
catch. So
I
this
was
is
like,
the
oh, it's
part
not
where
playing.
I thought of Vex. She probably left. She ran away. But if she's still awake, this is dedicated to you, Vex. Reminisce about how they were romantically
now?
involved years ago.
Mhm.
Then he leaves. Sensitive Klingon is still trying to practice for his debate, and Caleb tries to help him again. But Sensitive Klingon tells him that he doesn't need his help again. So Caleb tries to appeal to him more personally by saying, "Brah, you and I come from the same background. We both been through hard times, so we kind of like bros, yo." And then the Sensitive Klingon is like, "Nah, son, you and I ain't bros, bruh." So Caleb sees this as a diss, gets offended, and leaves as violins play in the background again. And in this scene, I'm like, somebody may think that my dubbing of these characters sounds like maybe I went like too urban with it. And then I'm like, no, it's fine. Nobody cares, you know? I don't think it was mean spirited or anything. I was just trying to show what the show was
No,
going
it's
for,
just
you know?
that is exactly how the characters act, though. They're just like, bro, nah, man,
Right, they
dude.
actually
Like
say it. That's
this.
the thing. Maybe I took it to the next level, but that Caleb guy does say like bro and like dude and things. Nobody in 1,000 years in the future, they're not all going around like, yo, bro, dude. They're not talking like that. It's like, oh, what about you? Do you got game? It's like, dude, this is supposed to be 1,000 years in the future. Don't ask him if he got game. You know what I mean? All weird
Yeah,
shit.
for the win, bro.
But yeah, I
It's
don't know why.
dreadful.
I also like the I don't know, I recorded it. I don't know how, like, I didn't really think about that specific part in advance, and I just kind of said it, and then I'm like I thought about it for a second, I'm like, "Fuck it. I'm keeping it in." And,
Leave it in.
yeah, my friend Nick, he saw it, and actually out of all the things he, like, wrote in the comments, I think that part made him laugh.
That's
like
great.
people say, it's not that it wasn't accurate. Nah, bruh. It's even dated now, yeah, like, totally stupid.
Yeah,
Anyhow, I just
it's
thought that was
terrible.
amusing. I amused
Just
myself, I admit it,
terrible. Yeah,
and,
I don't know what they thought they were doing making this show. And we haven't even finished it. We're not even halfway through this mess. Supposedly, oh God, supposedly this week they're going to do something with Cisco, and I'm going to be so freaking pissed.
I
Because
tend to think, and I could be wrong, I tend to
oh,
think that this is gonna be a quantum leap type of situation, and what do I mean by that? Quantum leap, Scott Bakula decided that he didn't wanna be on the show, so what they did was they did a workaround that, like, I guess they had a license to his image from the show, so you see, like, an image of him in the show or whatever it is, and they're, like, talking about him and trying to explain something, but you never actually see him, you know what I mean? Nobody
yeah,
sees him. They just tried to find a way to make it seem like they're giving you some additional development about him or saying something about him. Just talking about him and showing his face in some kind of hologram or whatever it was. That was their workaround. You know what I mean? And
mhm.
in addition to that, they also they took the actress that played Dean Stockwell's character Al. They took the actress that played his wife in the original, in the original show, and they brought her back, and then they brought a character back who didn't wasn't played by this actor, with Ernie Hudson. They tried to make it seem like now they're together. They tried a bunch of weird things just to tie up the past with the present, and you could say that all that stuff really takes a dump on the original show. But you know what? Without Scott Bakula there and without Dean Stockwell who passed away, it's not the same thing. So if they sit around and say, "Oh, like this is what happened with Cisco," like, and they give you all this information that you never knew, I don't really care that much. If the actor himself comes out, like, new stuff, like new footage, he's there and he's filming for the episode, that is one of the biggest disasters of all time, for real. Like, entertainment-wise, it's an unprecedented it's not unprecedented 'cause we got Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
having him even his face be shown on this thing, it's bad enough that, the doctor is on this. That's bad enough, but,
Mhm.
Sisko showing up would be awful, simply awful, and I'd be shocked because for so many years he was holding out, not really wanting to be a part of whatever this is, and for him to suddenly show up here, it'll be a major disappointment. Unless
Yeah,
he's like
he's one who's very, very much kind of to be honest, he was not really happy with the amount of fame that he got from Star Trek, right? It was a little much for him. He preferred to be kind of low key. He liked to play his roles and then kind of move on to the next thing. He didn't want to be pigeonholed. He didn't want to be typecast. And so for him, he kind of, for him, it was like, okay, Star Trek's done. I'm done. I'm moving on. He's not one who shows up at conventions, signing autographs, doing panels. Like he has his own life. And man, if you've ever seen an interview with him, he is like a jazz artist. He's like a poet,
yeah,
man. He's kind of always a little flighty and weird and talking in
yeah,
metaphors and
cool.
and stuff like no, he's hip as it can be, man. He is a cool dude. But I'm like he's on that different wavelength, right? Which is I think part of the reason why he never really cared about being at conventions and stuff because he's not just going to be there like, yeah, I remember that episode where I had to do that thing with the Romulans. Yeah, like he's not going to do that with with fans, right? He's
Right.
going to be like he's going to want to talk about other stuff and he's going to want to think about oh this great project that I did or this music that I listened to or whatever. Like I just don't think that's his thing. So man, I don't know what they might have had to do if he actually is in this. I don't know how much they had to pay him or what they had to bribe him with or no idea, right? But
What are the rumors? What are the do you think he's gonna be there or not?
so there's a few different rumors saying that yes, he's going to be in the episode or at least in some limited capacity, that there were negotiations with him at some point, that perhaps Sirach Lofton had something to do with it because, having played his son in the show, they were actually very close. Right.
Okay.
They became very close. Basically, he treated Sirach as his son, not just on the set, but off the set, like taking him to dinner. They were getting together. Up to this day, I mean, I don't know this personally, but what I've heard is that up to this day, he's still in touch with him. He's meeting him for lunch or, having him over to dinner with the family, stuff like that, like on a regular basis, that they're still really close. So, and he's been, Sirach Lofton has been much more engaged with the whole, fandom stuff. He did podcasts for a while. He's at conventions regularly. So maybe they convinced Sirach Lofton to do something and he talked Avery into it. That's literally all I can think
But
of.
you heard he's gonna actually be on it? You think he's
That
gonna be on this show, like, the real guy, he's gonna be
do
there?
do I think it's going to happen? My bet is no. I think that there's a lot of this has been talked up. I don't think Avery Brooks is playing Cisco in the episode. I don't. Because for love or money, he has refused to come back for anything. And I don't think he's going to be down with coming back to do some hipster teen comedy as Star Trek. I just don't. I think he would have looked at that script and said, "Hell no." and walked away. I just don't think he'd do it. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. I don't know. Istvova says the show killed his career. I don't think it killed his career. He went on to do a lot of different stuff. I think he realized that doing an episodic show like that for all those years, being tied to a single character, that was not for him. That was not what he wanted to do. He has done films since then. He did, by the way, American History X, which he's in there as a major character. Incredible film starring Ed Norton. If you haven't seen that,
Oh, I
very,
haven't seen
very
it.
good film.
It's just it's not a movie that I like to rewatch. Like, I watched it
Yeah.
once. I
No,
thought it
no, it's not. I've seen it twice. Once when it originally came out, and once, years later. Yeah, I mean, it's dark. It's a depressing topic, but it's handled very, very well in that film. It's kind of like Schindler's List, right? Like, damn, that's a depressing film. It's brilliantly made. There's some great performances. It's very moving, but man, that is not something you're coming back to watch every Christmas, right? That's
right. It's
not
really a
that kind of
movie.
movie.
There's a few movies. Sometimes you see a movie and you think, "Man, this is a really good movie," but you'll still say like, "But I'm never gonna watch it again."
Yeah. Seven. Seven was. Uh, I had a friend talk me into watching Seven. That was a terrifying, deeply disturbing movie. It was very effective at what it did. I watched that once. I put that videotape back in the case and I returned it to the video store that very afternoon. I was not going to watch that again, but it was well done. It was an excellent film, very well done. So
For
yeah,
sure,
I mean
yeah.
that kind of thing, that happens, right? Murr Rockster mentions he was in The Captains. Yes, he was. He was in The Captains, and then the more detailed The Captains, I believe it's The Captains Up Close, which is a more extended version of that. He's kind of all over the place, jazz musician, like talking about music and poetry and how it moves you, and the acting is like it's this performance where you're working with, it's you playing, but you also got to jive with the actors that you're working with, and you got to work with the script, and you got to improvise around it like jazz. It's kind of hilarious, but at the same time you get like why maybe he didn't care so much about being a big time star in films. uh he went and he was a professor for a while. He taught acting classes. He performed in theater. He did a few films here and
Do you
there.
think he was down on his luck maybe and they
N-
offered him money and he agreed? Do you think that's the
I
reason?
I really don't think so. But I mean, God only knows. I guess we're gonna find out tomorrow. Like if he is actually in there. The rumor is that some of the people who've gotten previews of it say he's in there. But I just don't
In
know.
what
I really
capacity,
don't.
though? This is really,
Again,
really
that's it. I don't know. I don't
well,
know.
this well, I guess we'll know soon enough because
Yeah,
apparently
unfortunately,
tomorrow's
we'll know
the day,
tomorrow
right?
night.
Tomorrow's the big day. We'll find out if this is, real or not. But you seem to think it is.
I don't know. My gut says no, but there's an awful lot of rumors out there that this new episode has something to do with them, and that he's going to be in there as Cisco. Which
Flashback, archival footage, or they're thinking that we're actually gonna see him the real deal?
this is the rumor, is that he's actually in it. It's not just pulling in old footage from DS9 or something like that. I personally, I think that's disgusting, and I don't really want anything to do with it, because like how did he get 1,000 years into the future? Has he just been hanging out in a wormhole for that long, or like what? Like personally, I love Deep Space Nine. I was very, very bothered by the ending of Deep Space Nine. I did not like it at all.
Yeah, somehow they didn't I didn't like the ending of that one. I feel like they left something up in the air with
They
Cisco
did.
there.
They did. Like there for some of the characters, for a lot of the characters, kind of you get that finale syndrome where like everybody's moving on to the next thing. Like you get the one character moving on to teach at Starfleet Academy, and another character's moving on to be a captain of this or that, or command this or whatever. But then like with Cisco, he's okay, so now they turned him into one of the prophets. He's like living in the wormhole, but he's got a damn kid on the way, right?
Right.
So now throughout the whole series, you have the character of Cisco being this really strong father figure to his son, to Jake. And that relationship is built over a long period of time. He's a very, very strong father figure, which he really wanted that to be part of his character. When he was early on, actually talking to the writers and saying, like, Avery Brooks said, look, I think Cisco, he has to be this strong father figure. He wanted to be that way because he wanted to be an example for the Black community, right? As a strong father figure, especially a single father. And so he wanted that to be part of it, and he fostered that throughout the series. And then at the end of the series, he goes off to be a prophet, space god, whatever they think they turned him into, and he abandons his family and a kid that's on the way. And
Yeah, it really didn't come out very nice, did
that
it?
never set well with me at all.
No, I
So
didn't like it either.
I will say that, like, there's a series of novels that were actually picked up in the early 2000s that follow Deep Space Nine after what had happened at the end of the last season. And they're actually the first 3 or 4 novels are fantastic. They're like actually like really solid sci-fi novels, and they continue on the story, kind of telling what's going on afterwards. But and then they started to fall off a little bit, but when they sort of wrapped up that whole storyline, it ended. You had Cisco, who came back, and he was there when when his child was delivered, when Cassidy delivered their baby. He came back. And so, like, he was there in time, to, like, be there for the important stuff, right? He was gone for a little while, but then he came back. And that was actually really, really, a nice ending for me anyway, to be like, okay, it all worked out, right? Even I know it's just books, it's not the TV show, but, like, he was gone for a little while. Jake goes kind of searching for him, trying to figure out where he's gone, because, they don't necessarily know about, where he is. And so, anyway, yeah, he eventually does come back. That was another thing too. In the end, he visits Cassidy in a vision, but he doesn't come talk to Jake at the end of the show. He doesn't come and say goodbye to his son, which again really bothered me.
Yeah, I mean, it would surprise me after all these years if he'd show up for this awful show, but and you never know. It's just kind of here's what I think. They love doing these kind of stupid mystery boxes or whatever it is. I feel like this is going to be a lot of key jangling and member berries and whatever it is. That's probably what it's going to end up being. The question is if they have sort of you know, if archival footage or just implying certain things, or they're actually going to show him and his likeness, and he's going to be there with new scenes. I would be very disappointed if he appeared, but I don't know. I would be very surprised if I turn on episode 5 and the whole episode, like, Avery Brooks is walking around there and, like, shown throughout the episode, like, doing so many things. I would be really surprised if that happened. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, me
All of
too.
this seems like that it would surprise me. There are people that they're going to show up and just do whatever crap that they were given. Like Robert Picardo, he 100% took that check. I saw an interview that even Robert Picardo was like, "Yeah, I was kind of surprised about the language and all that, but they're trying to appeal to like a young audience." Like they just sort of explained to him what the talking points were, and you could tell that there are a few moments that he himself, that if I really think, beyond all this stupid crap that he's telling the press, I think that he knows this is shitty. Like, even though he went and
Yeah.
he said that it's good to make it for a modern audience and all this other shit, I think he knows it's shitty. That's the feeling I got from Robert Picardo, and it's all kind of an act. Listen, also, when you get paid, like, let's say a few $1 million or whatever they gave him to do this, and then, they say, well, you got to do some press. Make sure you say that this show is made for a modern audience so we can, represent the world we live in today. And then you'll see him just sitting and parroting whatever he was told, and for a few $1 million, maybe it's worth it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much they
Yeah.
paid him, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what he usually gets or what his thing is. I imagine they had to pay him something, and, yeah, I mean, to be fair, uh although I really would prefer not to add the press of me saying how, like, the modern audience and whatever, but if somebody were to pay me, let's say, $3 million to be on this, and the catch is that later we do interviews and I have to tell people, "This is the best Trek ever. It really represents the world we live in today," or whatever it is, if I had to do that and get paid $3 million, I'd be sitting there. I don't know that anybody would believe me, but I would say whatever that note says, if I have to say, "Oh, there's so many ists and phobes out there that don't like this show, but it's, representing the world we live in today." And then I'd log into my, banking on my phone, just make sure that that check cleared, look at
Make sure
the
the check cleared.
yeah, look at what my balance is at that moment, and, then the guy will be like, "Is this the gayest Star Trek ever?" And I'll be like, "Yep, it sure is, buddy. It sure is." I'll
Yep.
do it all. I'll do it all, Professor. I told you, it's funny because, this was, something that I was talking about in a chat with a few people this week, where somebody was like, "Well, if somebody paid me $30 million, like, and it was a woman that said, I'd, be Snow White." And, I said, "If somebody paid me $30 million, I'd be Snow White. I'm willing to do the whole movie, Professor. I'll put on for $30 million, you get the works, you know what I mean? I'll put on whatever, I'll sing the songs, I'll put on the dress, I'll, like, curtsy, whatever it is. I'll walk with the forest, like, with the poison apple, whatever you want. For $30 million, go like, I will be Snow White in Snow White for $30 million. It's the truth. I mean, I
Deal.
don't know who would want
As
to.
soon as I get that money raised, I'll let you know.
I don't know who would want to watch me as Snow White, but if I was paid $30 million, I would do it. I would,
Mm.
it would be the most surreal and weird thing ever. I mean, it would make no sense whatsoever. But yeah,
Mhm.
for $30 million, Admiral Teague says I'd get implants and live with them for a year. Yeah, I mean, Robert Picardo has a Cameo account. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, listen. Robert Picardo is looking to make some money. It's fine. You have the circuit. Usually you probably have those conventions where he can get the money there. He has Cameo, and he probably knows what he gets from all those conventions and cameos. But I assume that here, if he and his people were smart, they would have pulled a pretty decent payday for him. And he's not 20 years old. Somebody gives him a few $1 million. I don't know what it is, if it's even if it's a few $100,000 per episode, whatever it is that he demands that they pay him, and they actually pay him, worth it for him. I've also noticed as people get older, actors, they become less and less, like, sticklers over what they're gonna do. They're just kind of happy to be doing something. I hope that Avery Brooks didn't fall into that category, that he was, like, you know, defending Star Trek's honor for so many years, and at the end, like, he just fell for it. I hope that's not the case, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll know soon enough.
we will.
And,
Oh, let's see. What other stuff we got to talk about besides this? Because we're just going to end up talking about this again on Thursday. Um, let's
well,
see.
let's see what okay, there was the Grammys. There was the Grammys, okay?
Yeah.
So what happened? I'm trying to find. Let's find some clips. First of all, there was something that I guess, I guess the host was Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
I
There's
mean,
one washed up host there. I mean, what's Trevor Noah doing these days? I guess hosting the Grammys, but I don't know what else.
let me see if I can find the part that he's saying this. Okay. Oh, I guess this is it. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not getting audio.
You're not getting audio?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see if we can. Uh, no, I can't find that clip. Okay, maybe it's this one. Can you hear it? Did you hear that?
Nope. Yeah,
Okay,
probably have to unshare it and share it again.
I'm gonna do that. Don't you all worry, it's all gonna be here.
We'll get there.
Of the year.
There we go.
Okay, you got it?
There we go. Yep.
Song of the year. Congratulations, Billie Eilish. Wow. That is a Grammy that every artist wants, almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, which makes sense. I mean, because Epstein's island is gone, he needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton. So, oh, I told you it's my last year. What are you going to do about it? Song.
The only thing that surprises me that he even threw Bill Clinton under the bus. Are you with me, Professor?
Yeah, it's just so dumb because he never went to Epstein Island. There's absolutely no evidence he was ever there.
Yeah, so Trump responded to it. There's something else that first of all was like saying, "Oh, I don't know, there was some other nonsense." Okay, this is another, I guess. He's not very funny, to be honest. I've never thought he's especially funny.
No, he is not.
Hosting the
He's
Grammy?
the opposite of funny.
This is my 6th and last year hosting the Grammys. I've loved my time, but I believe in term limits. Yeah, I wanted to set an example for anyone who might be watching the show. You know, just leave when your time is up. You know, whatever.
And then I guess Trump responded, "The Grammys are the worst, virtually unwatchable. CBS is lucky not to have this garbage litter their airwaves any longer. The host, Trevor Noah, whoever he may be, is almost as bad as Jimmy Kimmel in the low ratings Academy Awards. Noah said incorrectly about me that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton spent time on Epstein. Wrong. I can't speak for Bill, but I have never been to Jeffrey's Island nor anywhere close. And until tonight's false and defamatory statement, have never been accused of being there, not even by fake news media. Noah, a total loser. Better get his facts straight and get them straight fast. It looks like I'll be sending my lawyers to sue this poor, pathetic, talentless dope of an MC and suing him for plenty of money. Ask little George Slopadopoulos and others how that all worked out. Also ask CBS. Get ready, Noah. I'm going to have some fun with you. President Donald J. Trump."
Also, ask George Slopolopoulos about his meetings with old Jeffrey.
He had meetings with him?
After he had already been accused and found guilty of certain behaviors.
To be honest, a lot of these, the part that nobody wants to really accept here, but is true, all these elite people, didn't care about that thing, continued to interact with him. He was very much within their circles, and they seemed to think he was like, I'm going to say something, and it may be controversial. I don't know that every person knew exactly what that guy was doing. I assume that some people somewhere are probably going to these kind of like, snooty cocktail parties with rich people. And, I'll give you an example. While I wasn't the kind of person that I don't think I got invited to I don't think that I would get invited to the type of parties that he would get invited to, but there were a few times that I found myself in a place where there's actual, Hollywood celebrities and, a few power players and things like that. If he showed up there, I wouldn't know who he was probably. I mean, now you see the face and you recognize him. At the time, probably wouldn't even know who he was. And, the fact that he's hanging around in a room, somebody invite, I don't know, you know what I mean? Unless you told me this is that dude, this is that guy, and most people, I don't know who knew or who didn't know. I don't know that every single person that they take a picture and he's like standing next to him knew like every single thing about him. I also assume that not everybody, I know this is going to sound weird, not everybody knew that Harvey W. Was like everybody thought he wasn't a good dude, but I don't think that everybody knew exactly what he was doing. I mean, I didn't know. I really didn't know. So yeah, I mean, I knew he was an asshole, you know what I mean? Like, but it kind of had the reputation of he's an asshole that gets things done. Everybody dislikes him. He's a jerk and an asshole, but he gets things done. That was sort of the vibe that I understood. At the same time, I'm not like, and never have been, a real integral part of that kind of elite whatever. I've crossed paths with some people. I've crossed paths even with like people. Uh, so I have to be careful here.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, Vex, I don't know if she's still listening in, but Vex is convinced that your real connection to all these Hollywood people is that you were at one time a Hollywood gigolo. That's what.
Oh no, I wasn't. That would have been interesting. Then I'd really have an interesting story to tell. I was just like in the grand scheme of like people that are doing stuff, I'd say that I was a relatively low level guy. Then I can like semi legitimately present myself in certain situations, but low level, like and not the person that everybody's like calling and asking me to weigh in on. But I said more the kind of guy that somebody would ask, "Oh, who is this guy and what is he doing here?" Which that's like I think a real quote too. Like those those things really happen. So I could tell I don't want to I'm afraid to give too much information, but there was I think she worked she was a woman who worked for one of those good morning shows or whatever it is. I don't want to say her name. I think she worked at one of those, like you have like a Today Show, morning show, whatever shitty shows they have in the morning.
Yep. Shitty shows in the morning. I know about those.
She was for one of those shows in the morning. But the funniest thing was, I was at one of those kind of weird cocktail parties, and on my way out, and I had had like a number of drinks already. And I said to myself, "This is the time that I probably should leave. The more I stay like drinking in this atmosphere, the more not good it is. I better leave this place." And on my way out, I see this lady, and I said, like, I called her by her first name, and I looked at her and I said, "It was so great to see you here." And I said it because I'd had a few drinks and I thought it was really funny. I'm like putting on a show for myself. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So great to see you here. And then this lady who's like, a known person from those kind of morning, whatever it is, she like embraces me and looks me in the eyes and like half hugs me and says, "I'm so glad you came." And then I thought to myself, this is it. This is Hollywood. She has no idea who I am. I'm not like and I have no relevance I think to anything she does. She couldn't care less. But just in case, do you get what I mean? Just in case that I may be somebody that's worth something, that I was at this place, she did the minimum. And yeah, so that was kind of interesting.
And then Looks Like We Made It by Barry Manilow starts playing in Price's ears. It's like
By the way, we have this thing that I guess is this the part hold on one second, let's see.
Numerous times, and I don't think they want to see a shutdown either.
Mr. President, are you going to sue Trevor Noah? Last night in a post, you alluded that something could be coming.
Yeah, well, he said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's island. I didn't. I mean, he's a lightweight. This guy is a terrible. I think he's terrible. I thought he did a terrible job at the Grammys. I thought the whole Grammys was terrible. I watched part of it. It's not watchable. Numerous times, and I don't think they want to see a shutdown either.
Mr. President, are you going to sue Trevor Noah?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the thing is that Trevor Noah, one of my somewhat issues I had with him is that you can like Jon Stewart and not like Jon Stewart. And I think that back in the day, very early on in his career, Jon Stewart was a lot more likable than what he became later. I think that there was an early point in his career that, there was enough humor to go around that you're not, even if he's laughing at people or different parties or whatever, there was something more lighthearted about it. And over time, he became more like bitter and mean-spirited like many of those other comedians. But I will say that Jon Stewart, like him or not, he built that show to whatever he was, and whether I agreed with him on a lot of stuff or not, he at least lives here and has whatever opinions he has, even if I a lot of times disagree with them. Then suddenly, like, Jon Stewart leaves and they bring Trevor Noah, a guy who was basically not a US citizen at that moment. He had lived in Africa, had nothing to do with the US, but like in 2 seconds, he's here, like, doing sort of commentary about things happening. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a strange choice because I feel like I never fully bought him as that dude, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. Yeah. No, ugh.
Yeah, and
I
it's not.
believe. I mean, I have never been a big Jon Stewart fan, but I watched him doing the Daily Show. I would say, maybe every couple months, I tune in, just check it out, watch it. Thought, sometimes he has some funny things to say. He has some insights. He has some interesting people on. But it was never something I followed all the time. Trevor Noah came in. I watched one episode of that garbage and never came back for any reason. I was not interested at all. I didn't like his personality. I didn't like the take that they had on stuff. I didn't like anything about it. So it was like, no thanks.
He was something of an
Done and
imposter.
done.
He was something of an imposter. That's, I guess,
Absolutely.
my best way to explain it. Whereas, like, I didn't really buy him. And I agree with you. I think that Jon Stewart was a guy that, in spite of, like I said, and especially during the earlier days, he could go off about something, and especially if it wasn't as political, because back in the day when the Daily Show started, it became more and more political over time and very defined in its position. But I don't know if you remember, earlier on, it wasn't really like that. So you could sit there and watch him legitimately like skewer things. Jon Stewart like had like I said, like him or not, especially in the earlier years, he was good at doing that show. I mean, he knew how to deliver the parts that he needed to deliver. I thought that he was more playful and fun before he, over time, kind of transformed into something else. I will say that, and this is the only thing, like, I will say that his work for the firefighters of 9/11 and families and the things like that, I thought that was very nice what he did with the. I mean, I have to give credit where credit was due. The fact that he like fought for them and their benefits and stuff like that, I thought that was a nice thing that he did.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean.
You didn't. I'm now interested. It's like the moon landing. You didn't like that?
Oh.
Well, shit. Tell me what you think. I'm curious.
Well, now you're going to have to repeat it because now I'm not sure I heard what
what happened was is that the 9/11 people, there was something that they stopped paying them, the ones that got sick from 9/11, and he went to Washington and spoke at Congress and sort of I think that by lending his voice to support whatever they were doing, these families of firefighters and things like that, he kind of lent his voice to come and argue in front of Congress that they should continue to get benefits. I didn't think that was a bad thing to do. I thought that was
no, not at all.
It was even a nice thing that he did. Meaning, I guess he's had a few things that he's done that were redeemable. If I had to say, I'd say that early in his career, he was more pleasant and funny. Over the years, he kind of changed and became very preachy and not as funny. And again, the fighting for the firefighters' benefits, I can't say that was bad, but yeah. And
no, I mean, Jon Stewart has had a really, he's had a really mixed career. He's had a lot of times when he's been, I don't know, kind of a pedagogue, really pushing certain things and really trying to preach at people about whatever. And then he's had times when he's been very open to sort of different ideas and talking about stuff and thinking more openly about things. It's really odd. It's like there's some things that for some reason, just, I don't know, they stick in his craw. I don't know. And then he the only thing he can talk about after that is that thing. And he only has one opinion on it and can never get off of it. Trump would be one of those things. He hates Trump. He's never ever going to give Trump any due for anything. He could cure friggin' cancer, and he would not say anything good about it. He would argue that cancer was important and shouldn't be marginalized by Trump's actions or whatever.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. Like I do have some respect left for Jon Stewart, not a lot, but some.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That I still think maybe because I remember moments like another thing after 9/11. There a lot of these hosts didn't quite know what to do. I thought that his speech afterwards or whatever monologue was rather poignant, from what I recall. There were moments really earlier on that I think that he was a little funnier. He shed light on stuff that was stupid on both sides. He wasn't as hard left and just pushing those narratives. And like you said, initially, I don't think that he used his ability to speak like kind of like a pedagogue or his rhetoric. I don't think he used it as heavily as over the years. He started leaning into that more and more of really like shoving in the agenda he wants to push. And like I said, he wasn't the same throughout his career. I do think that earlier on, I enjoyed his stuff more. But if I had to choose between like you said, just to sum it up, I have to watch Jon Stewart or Trevor Noah. Jon Stewart is at least a guy that I consider somebody doing whatever he's doing in that field. Noah always felt like an imposter to me. So
yeah,
that's just my 2 cents.
If you're saying like you have to pick one or the other, it's going to be Jon Stewart every time. I think Trevor Noah was kind of a joke filling that role. I think he did a terrible job. And never found him entertaining, never found him funny, never found him informative. He was just sort of there to push whatever the party line was and do really weak interviews of people and talk about how much of a victim he was.
True, sort of. Remember, Jon Stewart was the one who made the case for Labley. On occasion, here's what I think. I think that beyond all the crap that he's sucked into with the politics and all the people around him, there's moments of clarity where you think that maybe Jon Stewart, if he's honest with himself for half a second, knows a little better than what he's letting on. But that doesn't help at the end if he just has his rhetoric and weird crap. In any case, we have a few super chats, so let me make sure I got them all. I think I did. I'm going to share them now. So we have. Did we even read the first one from the Dead Man? We showed it.
I think we might have. We showed it, and then I think we might have stepped away and talked about something else.
I'm so sorry, the Dead Man. You deserve better. You deserve better. Let me try to figure out how to do this. I want to. Well,
so it's got the Dead Man. We showed it earlier. Dead Man for $4.99. Says watching X-Files with no lights on. Why would you watch X-Files any other way? Referring to, of course, the lyrics from 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies, where he sings watching X-Files with no lights on. La Dalle Maison, whatever. It's French for staying at home. Dans la Maison, yeah.
Well, dans la maison, it's inside the house. Is that?
Yeah, inside the house. Yeah, we're watching X-Files with no lights on. We're inside the house.
Nous avons regardé. Ah, fuck. I can't remember. Nous avons regardé X-Files dans la maison.
I hope the smoking man's in this one.
Il y a un chat sur la table. Anyhow, Jon Stewart called out Crossfire on CNN. He got it canceled, actually. It was a dumb show, and yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, he has his agenda. Tucker, whatever, had his agenda. I think that he made some good points about why that show was stupid, but it's not like he hasn't done stupid things himself at a later point. It's not that I'm the biggest fan of Tucker Carlson, but I also can't say that Jon Stewart didn't do stupid things, so it is what it is. Check out Admiralty and the Grateful Trek. Okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, the Dead Man has a Trek channel himself. He's quite the he's something of a Trekkie himself. And in addition to that, check out the Dead Man. I guess Admiral Teague and the Grateful Trek. That's another thing you should look into. Then Karate Werewolf, member for 5 months. That's great, man. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I love the screen name, Karate Werewolf. It's the best scream name ever. And then they wrote, if they went to the island, they knew. Okay, I assume that some of those people, if they went to the island, they probably would have seen something that looks suspicious, I would think. The ones... Okay, so let's put it this way. And again, I'm not an expert. I don't know anything. And here at Price of Reason Studios, we speculate about stuff and we don't know anything. But I would assume that the people that just went to some kind of billionaire's party and he was walking around, I don't think that they would... I don't think that they would necessarily know. But if there are people that went to his island, hanging out for a good amount of time on his island, I think that becomes a bit strange. Now,
Yeah, no, as I said over in the Rumble chat, yeah, I said something very similar. If somebody traveled to the island, they knew. I think it was everywhere there. I don't think that, and perhaps they might have been naive enough to not know what was going on before they got there. But when they got there, they absolutely knew what was going on. And I also think that, Jeffrey was pretty good about making sure that the people that he invited on those little trips were going to be cool with what was happening on the other end. So that, on one hand, they weren't going to go telling on him. On the second hand, they would end up participating so that he could get compromat on them, right? So that's just, I think that was par for the course. And so I think if they did go to the island, they knew exactly what was going on, exactly what was happening. Now, if they had more casual dealings with him, they saw him at parties, they maybe had business dealings with him or something. Maybe not. Maybe they didn't know what his deal was and what he was doing and so on. Might have even been invited to some of these things and turned him down. Maybe they got a bad vibe off of him or something. But the people who kind of around him in his life and in sort of that not influencer, but the wealthy, the ultra wealthy culture that sort of, the parties and everything that were happening. Some of those people probably, that didn't really know until later on when a lot of that stuff got exposed publicly, exactly what he was up to and the kind of person that he was.
I'll give you, I thought of an example. There is a billionaire, a kind of, sort of, he's not I don't know if to say entertainment, but if I said who he was, which I won't, I think that people will be like, okay, we know who that is. He's at least sort of adjacent to the more hip, snooty billionaire world, whatever it is. To be fair, he didn't seem snooty. I want to clarify that he was very nice, but I'm just saying that the general atmosphere of that situation was that I guess what I'm saying is that I was invited to a party, and I again, nobody could probably tell you why I was invited to this party, but that's a whole other story. Bottom line, I was at a party like this, and if let's say that Jeffrey guy was walking around, I wouldn't have known. You know what I mean? I don't know who that guy is. I'm sure that not everybody, everybody that's doing everything. You don't know everybody. You don't know anything. It's I can't blame people for going to a party and then people oh, he stood 6 feet away from this guy. It's yeah, I don't know. I've been to some of these events where there were so many people that I didn't know at all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not wealthy. I haven't gone to, outrageous parties with people, whatever. But I've still been to parties where it's I know 4 people, and the rest of them I know nothing about them other than, they're associated with some group or they're here to support some charity or whatever like that. That's it. I don't know everybody that's there.
I mean, I don't know why I thought of this, but I once met Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he acted like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like, if you think, "Oh, it's only Dog the Bounty Hunter when there's a camera," let me tell you, he's Dog the Bounty Hunter, camera or not, you know what I mean? He's all in Dog the Bounty Hunter. Uh, it was actually I don't know, it was something of an experience, like, he was complete, like, I don't know, kind of amusing, actually. Uh, couldn't help but feel that I kind of like the guy after I met him. I thought to myself, "I kinda like this guy."
That's funny.
Yeah,
I
and,
have never met Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I've met Dog the Bounty Hunter. I even I dare say that I hung out a little bit with Dog the Bounty Hunter, but it was like a whirlwind, you know what I mean? Because he's like he dial his, like, energy and whatever he's doing, like, to a 20 out of 10. He's, like, over the top, and I'm kind of a chill guy, and I don't know, he's, like, talking to me, he's like, "Hey, like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, let's go this. Where we go," like, I can't explain it to you. That in and of itself, like, I think that if anybody ever wanted a reality show, I think that that would have been a good reality show. Even with me in it.
You'd have to
Anyhow,
appear in it as a puppet. Like, you'd only ever see you as a puppet on screen.
and yeah, I mean, I would think that, I the people that were maybe closest or worked with him on a day-to-day level and who had more knowledge, I'm sure they must have known something about Harvey W. But like I said, like, especially if somebody like me that I'm not getting calls from, like, the top people, I'm not in that, like, special clique, not on a regular basis, and people don't really care what I think or what I know, then, like, for me, if I heard, like, "Oh, it's Harvey W," I'd be like, "Wow, he's such a great producer." Yeah, everybody says he's an asshole, but he really, like, I also thought, like, he's really good at what he does. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and this is a terrible thing to say, even with all the crap that he did, I don't think he was a bad producer. I think that, the trouble is that he probably was a good enough producer that he became very greedy about it, if you know what I'm trying to say. Now, also, it has something to do with the type of person he is, meaning you can be the best at what you do and not be that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that I guess the success went to his head, and, he also maybe wasn't a good person, but with all that being said, he kind of knew how to produce movies.
Sure he did. Yeah. His company produced many big hits, big money-making films. It was very successful. Very
I mean,
successful
he knew how
company.
to also take gambles on people, like Tarantino, it's like, "Okay, we
Mhm.
gotta make this movie with this guy." Not everybody would understand that, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you could say, like, a million bad things about him, but, like, he said, "Oh, this guy, this Tarantino guy that's working, like, in a video store and seems like a kind of eccentric, strange guy, let's make a movie." You know what I mean? Like, that's you have to at least have an eye for talent to understand why you wanna give the guy a movie. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Lasher says just because you're an fucked up person doesn't mean that you're bad at your job. I think that he was a good example for that. But at the
Yeah.
end, that's what really, is sad. I mean, even I dare say this, and I can't believe even Mr. Pudding Pop was not bad at his job. I mean, he
Mhm.
basically in the 80s was like the number one sitcom on TV for years. You can't say he wasn't good at what he did, and that show was very much like his thing. He was the producer. He was like, he was very dominant in making that show work. And yeah, what can Mr. Pudding Pop ended up being not such a nice guy, I guess.
It would seem that is the case. Yes. Ugh.
It's a strange,
Yeah.
yeah, he was the TV dad. You know what TV dad I kind of like, because recently I told you that Samsung TV showed me. I'm trying to think of other TV dads that were pretty good. I liked what's his face, Stephen Keaton from Family Ties. He was a
Yeah.
pretty likable father, kind of a pushover, but he was kind of likable. Trying to think what other TV fathers were good. Hmm. Can you think of any? I don't know.
Well, there was, want to go way back. There was Andy Griffith.
I guess.
You had, it's trying to think of TV dads. Uh,
By the way, I can't believe I'm going to
Um,
respond to what you said, Karate Werewolf. I don't want to highlight the article, but I want to say something. He claims that Mr. Pudding Pop was worse than, Harvey W. And in a way, I tend to agree with you because Harvey W., for the most part, at least from what I understand, and I could be wrong, and again, here at Price of Reason Studios, just speculating, I'm not good enough to be talking about any of these issues. But it seems like with Harvey W., he told his victims, ladies, whatever. He said, "Hey, if you want this role, you got to do A, B, C, D," and they can decide if they want to do it or not. Now, is it an abuse of his position? Sure. Is it like is there something highly unethical and possibly more than that in that situation? Sure. And did he maybe even do things that were beyond that? Sure. I don't know. I'm not. I have no idea. It doesn't. It's not. It doesn't look good.
mhm.
But in the case of the Mr. Pudding Pop man, is that he didn't really even ask, "Hey, like, do you want to be in a movie? Do you want a guest spot on the show? Well, you got to do this and this and this." He basically, it wasn't so much anybody asking questions.
Mhm.
So somehow I guess I don't know why I'm answering this. I should have never. I don't know should have never even gotten into this. But somehow I agree that Mr. Pudding Pop was worse than Harvey W. I'll give you
Yeah.
that.
So I'm going to give you my answer for favorite TV dad, even though he wasn't necessarily the dad. Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I thought he was great. I thought Uncle Phil was a
Yeah.
great. The actor was great, and I thought that
He
his
was.
performances. Everybody always you think that Will Smith is the star and all that. I dare argue that the best actor on the show was James Avery, who played Uncle Phil. And I
Yep.
think that even Will Smith over the years said how much he learned from him actually working with him, because Will Smith, when he got that show, he wasn't really a full, I don't know how seriously people took him as an actor at that moment, as much as like this show really, you know, kind of threw him into the water, and just he had to learn as he was going along. And I think that working with James Avery out of that cast really helped him. And yeah, I thought Uncle Phil was great. I
Yep.
100% agree
And,
with you.
another great father, again,
Who?
Benjamin Sisko. Another great,
Yeah, no,
another
he was
great father
good.
figure on TV. And you know what? There it is. I've just praised 2 black men and their portrayal of fatherhood on TV. So take that, people who want to try and tell me I'm racist. How about that?
No, I mean, I'll give you even another one. I think that on Family Matters, I think that Carl Winslow was a good
Yeah, that
dude.
was also a good one. Yeah.
He was a good
Little
dude.
more comedic, but yeah.
More comedic, but I thought that, like, he was still a likable father. You know what I mean? I think that people walk away with that show. Everybody thinks about Steve Urkel, but I think that the reason why the whole Steve Urkel thing, when it worked best, was him at odds with, you know, with Carl. I think that he would get on his nerves, and that they would sometimes have to like solve things together and work together. That was probably like the way the places where the show worked the best. So yeah, no, on what's it called, on Full House, I think that Danny Tanner,
Yeah, Danny Tanner. Yeah, sure.
Bob Saget. I know Bob Saget always kind of like didn't like that it kind of gave him the good guy image, but
Yeah,
you
oh
know
yeah.
what?
He worked hard against that in his stand-up.
I know how hard he worked against it, and maybe in real life he was sort of like, not as wholesome, but darn it, he was good in that role. Like, he was good as the wholesome father, not gonna lie to you. It was totally delivered. I'm trying to think of what other Alan Thicke on Growing Pains. I thought he was a
Yeah,
pretty good.
sure.
Yeah, he was a
That's
likable
good.
dad. I met Alan Thicke, and I met him not too long before he passed away, and It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just move on. He seemed very nice, and I exchanged a few words with him. Again, all these things that I say, I don't want you to mistake. Like, it's not. I want to clarify. I'm not like the guy that like all the stars hang out with. Nobody cares about me. And sometimes, like, there have been situations that I stumbled into places where there were some people. I'm not the guy that everybody then like is besties with. Like, people aren't sitting around and like I'm not sitting like on the French Riviera like and doing stuff. I'm not like sipping champagne on like a boat with with Leo. I'm not like in San Tropez doing whatever. You know what I mean? Like nobody cares. I am really an insignificant like piece of this puzzle. But even an insignificant piece of the puzzle sometimes gets exposed to interesting things. And at least that's why I thought to myself that if there was ever like a Forrest Gump of entertainment, I could be the Forrest Gump of entertainment. Like I could do that. I could be that dude. The dad in Step by Step, that's Patrick Duffy. He started off in Dallas as
Mhm.
Bobby Ewing, and then there's the famous Bobby Ewing thing. He decided he wanted to leave because he thought that there would be a lot of great opportunities for him. So he left, and a few things happened. One, he left. One, I guess the show said, "Fine, go ahead." You didn't offer him more money, or I don't know whether like, "Fine, do whatever you want. We'll see you later." And then like he went, and he's like, "I'm here now. Like I'll have all the roles in the world." Suddenly, he noticed he didn't get a lot of roles. So after a year, when the ratings were a problem and everybody was unhappy, they came to the actor and they said, "Listen, we'll give you more money. You come back and do the show." And then they had to explain how he's coming back. The only problem is they already killed his character off. So they came up with what until today is considered one of the most outrageous retcons in the
Mhm.
history of television. Basically, they deleted a season of television. There's a whole season of
It's
Dallas that if
it's
you watch it,
absolutely iconic. It's incredible. Yeah.
they took a whole season of Dallas and absolutely just deleted it. It's unheard of to just say, we're retconning this past season out of existence, but
It
they
was
absolutely did that.
all a dream. Yeah, that's and now that's such a it's such a joke now, right?
It is.
That you're gonna, oh, you know what? We'll you know what? That story didn't work out so well. Maybe we'll just make it all a dream.
Patrick Duffy was all I
Uh,
remember that he was on what's his face? He was on South Park, yeah. Uh So at
oh,
the end, what happened is basically they retconned the season out of existence. Not only that, they knew they were doing that. So the season finale has a bunch of crazy stuff happening. Everybody's like exploding. All the craziest things are going on. And then the next thing Pamela, who used to be his wife or whatever it is, she goes to the shower, opens it, and there he is.
yep,
And
yep. It was
yeah,
all a
they
dream.
pulled it like I don't know. I mean, nobody had really attempted something like this before. It was wild, and I think that even though it helped, the ratings bounce back a bit, there is an element of it that I think hurt the show. Because if you're watching a show for a year and people are like, "You just wasted your time. This was nothing," there's a feeling that you feel a little cheated. You know what I mean? It's too much of a cheat code in one place. Although at the same time, we use this idea and we keep thinking, well, with Star Wars, can we just make it so Luke wakes up somewhere and all this, like, Kennedy era was a nightmare? I'd probably accept it. I'd accept. I mean, I don't think that I'll go back to liking Star Wars the way I did ever. I think something's been ruined that I can't get back fully. But I mean, it would be a step in the right direction if like Luke wakes up suddenly and said, "Oh, it's all a dream." Be kind of funny. Let's see if
Oh,
there's
it was a terrible dream. Yeah, or he's having like a force vision or something of a possible future.
By the way, if you're new to this channel, or if you maybe you got a link from one of my other places, this is my live stream channel because some people may have been referred from another channel. So this is my live stream channel. If you're not already subscribed to this, you should consider doing that so that you know when there's streams. In addition, also on Rumble, if you've not signed up for the app yet, you should definitely sign up and then follow us so that you know when we're streaming. I want to try to find that scene of Bobby Ewing in the shower. Shower. Unbelievable, really. I think this is it.
Yeah. And then so I believe that happened, and then later on they did the finale of Newhart, right? Where
Right.
where in the finale he wakes up and he's still his character from the Bob Newhart show from your...
That was pretty funny, but that was done more comically. At the end, they kind of
obviously
made a
it was
little
more
joke.
comical, but I think it maybe have played a little bit off of that
It's possible.
idea.
Yeah, maybe during those years. I know that SNL at the time, they got back. I think that a year before they had Madonna do the season opener, and then in the next season opener, she just came for a little bit with, I think she said, last year when I was here and I did the thing, it didn't really happen. Like, it was all a dream. They just brought her to explain that to the audience, and then the show starts. I vaguely recall something like that happening, but yeah, this was a big deal, the dream thing. Let me see if can you see it? Can you hear it?
Yep.
This is the big retcon. I mean, she basically is waking up. She was this guy's, she was wife, then they divorced and they got back together or separated, I don't know what, but they were supposed to already be back together, and then supposedly he died. And for a whole year, he's dead. With episodes, he has a funeral, he has all this stuff, all these...
Morning.
And they're just like, fuck it. They had a 1-hour episode with a funeral.
Yep.
This,
longer version? Oh, it's the return after the
Morning.
start of the next season.
That looks like the actress. I don't know what this is. This is probably they made a joke out of it later. What is it?
Not sure.
Bobby!
Good morning.
Oh, Bobby, I just had the weirdest dream.
Oh,
I
so
dreamt I
Family
saw the
Guy.
strangest episode of Family Guy, and there was
Yeah.
a giant chicken, and Stewie was an octopus.
Hey, come on now. It's all right. Everything's going to be okay. What's Family Guy?
It's actually kind of funny that they recreated the scene.
Yeah.
I never even saw that. Considering how many years later, the actors look pretty good at this point.
They do.
Still.
They look great. that was quite a few years later after that. Phantom Outsider said that wasn't Bobby Ewing in the shower. That was the man from Atlantis who crawled up the drain.
If the Phobos is right, though, he's saying, why aren't we talking about Bob Iger getting the boot?
Yeah, well, I thought we'd get there. We'd get there.
Let's look at that. We can look at it. But the truth is, if you want to know what I think, I don't think that it's the biggest boot. I think that he appointed people that are the same kind of losers that you think that he'd appoint. You know what I mean? I never feel like the people. This almost felt like the Kennedy exit. The options that were chosen. But let's find a good article about it.
There you go.
The options that were chosen were very kind of gray, and I'll tell you what I think.
So here's the article from Deadline.
Okay, you want to share it?
Yeah.
Okay, you shared it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, these are the two pencil pushers for hanging around Iger. These are not sensational picks. Dana Walden has been involved in this weird crap for years, and I don't think much of her personally. That's just my opinion. Josh DeMauro is another one of those Chapek situations. I think I saw Nelson Peltz, who was trying to get rid of Iger a year or two ago with those kind of proxy wars and things like that. He said something that I thought was interesting. He said, notice how Bob Iger, when he leaves, doesn't appoint a guy who's an expert in entertainment, in TV and entertainment, an expert in movies. He leaves and he brings people that are more kind of, seemingly maybe not the best for these roles. Like this guy, And I saw that they released all these statements and all these shows were trying, no, this Josh D'Amaro is so good. He worked with James Cameron on like integrating stuff into the park with his like Avatar movies. Yeah, but this guy is not like living and breathing television, and movies, I don't think. So the way I see it, this is like I could be wrong, maybe like a more lively version of Bob Chapek. But first of all, Iger is probably going to still stay in some committee in the executive board, whatever. He's going to still sit there and do his usual thing. And I don't necessarily know that he's not going to meddle in what these guys do. Maybe this time he'll really leave at the end. But I also think that like Bob Iger, and this is my personal opinion here at Price of Reason Studios, speculation and all that good stuff. I think that his ego is really big. And notice how he didn't really appoint, in my opinion, two rock stars. He appointed two very gray replacements. Same thing with Kennedy. Who did Kennedy appoint? Dave Filoni and some other lady that was helping her like balance the books after she was like spending all this crappy money on her crappy shows and movies. That was like the big reveal that they needed, like, two people who were like kind of just whatever, gray at best, replacing her, who herself is incompetent. So yeah, I guess I'm not impressed. I don't think there's something very impressive about this choice. It almost feels like a more of the same. Copy paste, like a Kennedy situation. And like Kennedy, he's also going to continue to meddle behind the scenes. What do you think, though?
Yeah, I think this is his chosen successor who's there to be his proxy as the CEO. I think, does he have experience? He does. He was the Disney Experiences chairman. That means Disney Experiences means parks. He was a chairman in charge of parks for some time. But I don't know that he's got the experience necessary to actually run things here as a CEO, that he knows what's actually up and, trying to, keep this whole ship afloat. And apparently there had initially been a plan. They had pushed a plan very much like we're getting with the Lucasfilm stuff, where it's basically there's like co-presidents.
Yeah.
They
You
had
need
pushed
two
early on a
people.
plan where basically Tomorrow and Dana Walden would then both be like co-CEOs. And the board wisely said, that's a terrible idea. We're not going to do that. That's a stupid idea, because, there have been a number of places where setting up this co-CEO thing has worked out, but the number of times that that's been successful pales in comparison to the number of times that it has been an absolute disaster.
You know why? Because a dragon usually only has one head. You
Yes.
can't. It's hard to say, oh, there's two CEOs, and it's the same nonsense in both. In the case of Kathleen Kennedy, she left, so they have to have a woman, and also they like wanted Filoni or whatever, so it's a man and a woman who are gray and not that spectacular. Same thing with Disney, and it's also the ego thing. Kennedy and Iger are so great at what they do that only two people can replace them. They can't just be replaced by one person because they're just too darn good. You need two people. They were like two executives rolled into one, and that's why two executives have to replace them, because that's only the only way you could replace such a titan of the industry is by bringing two gray people to replace him. Sorry, go on.
I think it's I don't even know that it's that they're gray and boring. Tomorrow, so as Karate Werewolf pointed out, while he was in charge of parks, he's been responsible for a number of decisions that a lot of Disney fans have been very upset about. He's been in charge of them redoing the parks, rebranding rides, changing them to have new properties, and eliminating classic rides and stuff. So he's been kind of in charge of that. It's pissed a lot of people off. Dana Walden, she's definitely not a gray choice. She is, I don't know what color it is, but it's the color of disaster. She's been put in charge of Disney Entertainment. She's going to be the person who's in charge of the films they're releasing, the television shows, all of that stuff, all Disney Entertainment. And she is awful. I said years ago when they started talking about this, who was going to take over for Bob Iger, she was one of the first names pitched because, man, they wanted all. They wanted to make sure they got a woman up there as the CEO. They wanted her in. And
Totally.
there was a major reason for that. And it's because she is buddy. She is the best possible friends with Kamala Harris. And they were convinced that she was going to continue to be an important political power. And they wanted her up there, and she was going to be tied in with her best buddy Kamala and whatever. No, she is a disaster. Disney Entertainment is going to struggle severely under her leadership. She's terrible.
Wasn't she
Yeah,
the one that also like ratted out Chapek or something? Like she is totally an Iger loyalist. I feel like she was instrumental in having and Chapek removed and Iger returning, in my opinion.
she was probably part of it. I think she was also part of some of the activism going on inside of the different agencies inside. She was in charge of various other issues, like it's believed she had a major part to play in things that were happening with the news groups, like the softball interviews and the edited interview that happened with Kamala Harris, that potentially she had some part of that. And so I think that her appointment here, maybe she's not CEO, but she's going to be powerful enough to really cause major issues, because I do not think she's one who is going to be willing to back down from all of the DEI, ideology, inserting stuff into entertainment. She's going to barrel. I think she's a true believer. She's just going to take it straight into the dumpster.
I think that what they really needed to do, and they obviously didn't for all the reasons we talked about, is like to bring in a true person with character as one CEO that's here to really do something, really revive this place and bring it back to where it needs to be. These options don't give me that feeling at all. These options are the opposite of that feeling. These guys are, like I said, gray, Iger loyalist pencil pushers, and I don't see them bucking the trend or turning things around or doing, like you said, they'll probably still enjoy all the activism and all the stuff that they do. I don't see a situation that these guys are the ones that are going to turn things around. I'm really not impressed. That's why I didn't even I saw it and I kind of just shrugged, At this point,
Yep.
Also for years, Disney has gone so downhill that at this point, finally is again supposedly leaving, and Kennedy is leaving. She's staying in the background, still producer on those movies. He's going to be an advisor on the committee, and all shit. You know what I mean? First of all, they're not leaving immediately. They're still going to meddle behind the scenes, and eventually, maybe they'll just step away and do whatever. But in neither case do you feel that more so in Kennedy, Iger, with all of his flaws, could at least show that there were years that he did stuff and the company was making money. People could say, well, he should have stayed retired, he shouldn't have returned, and also, rightfully claim that he made decisions that look good in the short term that maybe in the long term weren't good. There were a lot of things that he did that weren't good, but I think that he can at least show, if he did printed out some achievements, he could at least seemingly claim a few achievements. With Kathleen Kennedy, her list of achievements are very, very slim. Very slim, her list of achievements. And yeah, so I think that's the only real difference between them. But in any case, both of them outstayed their welcome by many years. And both of them appointed kind of losers to replace them. And I'm not impressed in either case.
Yeah. My prediction was if they brought Dana Walden in as the CEO, they would be selling off chunks of Disney within the year. I would say with now with Josh D'Amaro in charge instead, I give it 2 years. before they have to start selling off chunks of Disney to stay afloat.
I mean, the thing is that they can't sell off. I don't know. People talk about like Star Wars, but if they sold Star Wars, they'd have a real problem because their park has Star Wars stuff in it. What would you do? Unless they worked out a deal where they get to continue to keep it in their parks, but they just sell it to somebody else. I don't know. I can't imagine them selling it though.
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, you would say, well, they'll never sell off Marvel. Can't sell off Marvel. It's such a big hit for them. Not anymore. And I think after the end of this year, all prospects of that being a profitable enterprise are going to go down the tubes, because I think Doomsday is going to finally completely tank the MCU in the public eye. Like, I mean, we've pretty much already gotten rid of all of the regular fans. The only people who are still coming to these movies are the diehards. They're the comic book fans
and YouTubers
and YouTubers. But I think, I think by the end of the year, the MCU is probably going to be worthless. So, yeah, well, I guess we'll see.
We have another super chat, so let me just bring that up quickly, and then you'll continue whatever it is you were talking about. Okay, let me share it. So we have Jason Webster with $5 Australian. I wish I could have said that after backing a USD 250,000 Lamborghini into a streetlight. What is I don't
Ouch.
know. What'd you say?
I think he's saying the it was just a dream thing.
I see.
Wish he would be able to say that after having accidentally backed a supercar into a streetlight.
I hear you. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Where's your deadline thing?
Oh, it's okay. When you were sharing your other thing, it wasn't showing because this was still up.
So,
Um,
yeah, it's I mean, you could read from the article, whatever, but I think we both understand it. It's and you know what? I'm not surprised either. I'm not surprised that there isn't somebody like being like, we got to change things around. We got to bring it back to our roots. Like, you don't have anybody like that. It's just a bunch of, yes men, Iger yes men people. Maybe they'll annoy him at some point. Maybe they won't. But nothing fancy here.
Nope. No, this is a bland, try not to rock the boat kind of choice in both cases. And so I think that means, well, I mean, we've already seen what it means to the market. When the announcement was made that this was going to be the person who's going to be the new CEO,
the stock drop,
that Iger's stepping away, and maybe stepping away pretty soon, and letting DeMauro take over. Still sticking around as a kind of executive director or something like that, like he's going to be helping or whatever until the end of his contract, but kind of taking a step back and walking away from day-to-day duties. The markets were not happy. They tanked the stock. It did recover a bit, but we're still at like 2022 levels, like 2022 levels. It's not good. They have not managed to recover the value that they've lost in that over the last decade. So
yeah.
It's
the Phobos really wanted us to show a video about I don't know, Philadelphia Sheriff's Office hiring employees. Apparently this is real, and this is from the Philadelphia Sheriff's Office. Let me just make sure that it's real. Hold on. Yeah, it looks like the real deal. Are you ready?
Go for it.
This is, I guess, their recruitment commercial. And Phobos wanted us to watch it. So this is it. Can you hear sound?
Yes.
Okay. You ready?
Go for it.
Do that.
Well, I think we know this much, Price. whatever insurance that their union has negotiated for doesn't cover Ozempic.
Yeah, it seems that seems to be the case. Such
Yeah.
a strange thing. I mean, usually back in the day, I think that when you wanted to recruit for something like this, you saw serious people doing serious things, you know? Be
You
all
had
that you could
cops,
be.
man.
What?
You had cops.
Right.
Bad boys,
These
bad boys.
and not only that, I think that if they do a commercial, they're probably not gonna bring their, like, plumpest officer, you know? They probably bring a few guys that look like
Oh,
they're, doing something awesome, and, just like you used to see those kind of be all that you could be in the army, see all these people, like, all looking serious at what they do. Now it's just like, let's, like, do these silly dancing with these people. This was a really strange commercial. I don't know if they're gonna be able to recruit, but,
well, apparently they're looking for women, primarily black and overweight. So I think we know exactly who that was targeted to. Probably aired late at night on BET or something.
I have no idea. I mean, the thing is that it's not that you can't be that and apply. I just don't know if I would do a commercial with that and be like, this is it. This is what we got going on here. I think that they could probably do something a little more exciting than that commercial, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's pathetic. That I mean, seriously, that's they expect what any of those people going to be able to chase a suspect down on foot, wrestle 6 foot 6'5" strong male to the ground if they're resisting arrest or anything like that. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
I think we got another super chat from Jason Webster.
And no, I'm not saying that no black woman could do that job. Hell, I've known black women who could do that job. They were fit, they were strong, they were capable. That's not who they showed in that video.
No, first of all, I think that anybody of any background, it doesn't have to be like a white person or whatever. Anybody in any background could be a police officer as long as, they're good. I guess what I'm saying is the background and the identity or whatever you want to call it of the people, I don't think that's really a thing. The fact that the entire commercial is only focused on women who seem to be plus women doing weird dancing, it's very strange. It looks like they're looking for a very specific demographic, but yeah, I mean, I think that there should be people of different backgrounds, and they should be able to join, and all of that is great. It's just that this doesn't look like the kind of people that they would recruit. When I'm referring to their fitness level and things like that, yeah.
It's fascinating, really.
Just my 2 cents, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people. I don't know how they would chase prisoners Istophobos. I really don't.
Chase down a suspect or whatever.
So Jason Webster wrote, Mr. Iger, call Dr. Victor Frankenstein, wants to know when to expect you back as his assistant. Who's
Like
Mr. Iger phone call?
Igor. Igor.
Ah, okay, I got you. Sorry, Jason Webster. I got it. Sorry, Mr. Iger. Phone call. Dr. Victor Frankenstein wants to know when to expect you back as his assistant. Okay, got you.
Walk this way. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like if I just to sum it up, because people are saying in the chat, I think this should have been a commercial where you see like you can see a white person, a black person, an Asian person, whatever you want, Latino person, and maybe have them like do something, but please have them do something cool. You know what I mean? Show us some police officers that look like they're on top of their game and be like, you want to join this, like crew of serious people doing stuff, and like you see them like working or doing something like there's a way to make this look cool. They just didn't choose to do that here, and that's I think the main issue.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah. That's interesting. Clearly, there is a type they are looking for to recruit, because that was not the type of recruiting video that's going to bring in, men. First of all,
no, I don't think so. No.
or people who are particularly, say, fit for doing the job. I'm not sure it's going to bring those people in, but I don't know. I don't know what role the sheriff's department plays in Philadelphia either. So maybe all they do is deliver subpoenas. I have no idea.
Maybe, who knows? I also want to say that I said it before, but if anybody is watching this and hasn't yet subscribed, you should do it. I'm looking for 1 subscriber. Like one, I just need 1.
Just one. One
Just
more.
1. Yeah, well, we looked at that, we did that. What was on our docket? What were we going to talk about?
Let's see. Well, we talked about the Grammys. Let's see. I had some stuff on my list here.
I saw the Dracula movie that's about to come out. I saw an early screening, but go on. What was your stuff?
No. I had a couple of things. One of them was talking about the Disney CEO business. Had a couple of gaming stories we can save for later.
Let's do the Dracula. Yeah, we'll save the.
Yeah, go ahead for Dracula. Go with Dracula. We'll pull in a couple of these other short subjects and talk a couple of gaming things later on.
Okay, Dracula. Let's see. I have a few things, because I have Dracula. I have that 7 Kingdoms of the Seventh Kingdom, and what else? And the Rip.
Oh my, you've been busy.
A bit, yeah. So let me see. Rotten Tomatoes. When does that Dracula thing even come out? I already saw an early screening, but I don't know. Does it come out this weekend? Here, Dracula. Okay, so let me share it. Now, what happened is that this movie was made by Luc Besson. Generally, a veteran director who I don't dislike. He made, I believe he made Leon the Professional, which is a movie that I like. Yeah, that is amongst other movies, but that's one that I always remember especially liking. But he made like Nikita, he made Leon the Professional, The Fifth Element.
Lucy.
Lucy wasn't a bad movie. I generally like I generally like his work. I don't dislike Luc Besson or his work. I think he's a competent director, and it's all fine. The only the only thing is that Dracula, there was that one like Bram Stoker's or whatever it is from the 90s. There is that one, the one directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
I feel like this movie doesn't really do anything better. I haven't watched that movie in a long time, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't love the whole, focusing on the love story that much. They did it with Bram Stoker's Dracula, the one that Francis Ford Coppola did.
Yeah, that was his.
I'm a huge Francis Ford Coppola fan, especially like earlier stuff, even that wasn't late, I guess. I remember seeing the movie. I thought it was all right. I didn't love it. I know that some people like swear by that movie. I didn't even love the original, Francis Ford Coppola one. I will say, though, that I think the Francis Ford Coppola one did whatever it was trying to do better. This movie, for me, felt like it was a group of people that are all competent making a movie that's not really in their wheelhouse. And I'll tell you why I think that. The movie itself, I think that Luc Besson in interviews in the past said that he doesn't really love horror movies. He didn't love like spooky stuff or whatever it is. Now, Dracula isn't your typical type of horror, and yes, there's a love story and whatever it is, but honestly, there could be a little bit of spookiness, and I really feel like it wasn't strong enough in this movie. There were isolated scenes that I thought something interesting was happening. There were things that I didn't completely dislike, but I couldn't help watching it and feeling I was really going through everything was really going through the motions. And Luc Besson, I just feel like the atmosphere and the tone of the movie, it doesn't really draw me in. It's not strong enough. The love story, which supposedly everybody's like, well, you didn't like the love story. I think that he didn't do the love story well. I mean, honestly, it's not really, I don't love it to begin with, but I'm saying that you could have made that and done it better. And I think that they do it better in the Francis Ford Coppola one. In this thing, it all just kind of, it feels very on the surface. There doesn't feel like there's something underneath it all that's really drawing you in. And, they brought Danny Elfman to make the music, and I really like Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman makes good music, and you'd think he'd make good music for this, but instead of like Dracula, it feels like it's more of like an Edward Scissorhands vibe music or whatever it is, the more quirky thing that Danny
Yeah.
Elfman does.
Danny Elfman feels like a very weird choice for a sort of atmospheric take on Dracula from Luc Besson. Like I hear Luc Besson, Dracula, and then Danny Elfman. Okay, sure. I mean, he's definitely a capable.
Of course,
he's got a lot of scores that he's made, some really great. But man, that just sounds like a strange choice to me.
And it's a strange choice, and I felt it while watching it. I felt that the music was wrong. I felt that in general, Luc Besson, he doesn't really like horror movies, so that angle wasn't good for him. So he doesn't really love all the spooky stuff. In addition, he may have said that he really loves to focus on the love story, but I don't even think he was that good at that. There are movies that I think he was great at. There are movies I thought that he did really well at. This one felt like he was trying to do something that wasn't 100% for him. And I watched it, and I know that they released it, first of all, in France. I think it was in the summer. It was like July 2025, and it took until now, until like an American distributor made a deal to show it in the US. So really, it was released like half a year ago, but only now it's being released here in theaters or whatever it is. And when I saw it, I could kind of understand why. It just, I'm sure that some people will go see it, and maybe it's not the worst thing you'll watch ever in a theater. It's not the worst. I wouldn't give it a failing grade, but on this strange occasion, I kind of mildly agree with the direction of the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. It could also be that a lot of these critics are people that saw it in Europe, maybe European critics or something. I don't know how many people in the US saw it. Maybe it is a lot. I don't really know. But the bottom line is that I often, kind of grill this site and its critics for the nonsense scores. In this instance, I don't think that this is like very far off. Maybe I would have given it a little more. Maybe I would have been a little more generous, but not much more. It's not like I don't think it's a great movie. I think that it's okay. It's decent enough, but it's not spectacular. It's underwhelming, and for me, I felt kind of disappointed. Like there were quality elements. You could tell that he's a good director. You could tell Danny Elfman knows how to make music. You could tell the production was like okay. It wasn't like you're watching it and watching like some piece of crap, but somehow it just didn't deliver for me. And I'll say that I saw Nosferatu in the theater, and I thought that movie, I enjoyed it so much more. Now, Nosferatu isn't exactly Dracula. It was somebody that didn't have the rights to Dracula and made something that's a little similar to Dracula, but he thought different enough. And I don't know. At the end of the day, Nosferatu is a different situation. But man, when I saw Nosferatu, I saw it in the theater and I was really drawn into it. I sat there and like felt like I was really immersed in the movie, and it kind of just for a few hours I was like somewhere else. It really, there was something about it between the directing, the acting, and the music and the atmosphere. It was all set up properly, I think, in Nosferatu. Gets everything right, whereas this movie, in my opinion, gets a lot of things wrong. The only really strong thing that I would say about this movie uh, is Christoph Waltz is a good actor. Even when you give him some very little to work with, I think that he did the best that he could as like this priest or whatever that's trying to find Dracula. He did the best that he could, but it's still, in my opinion, still not good enough. So Is it the worst movie I've ever seen? No. Is it something that if like I had nothing else and I'm near a theater and whatever and you really want to see a movie, is it the worst thing? It's not the worst, but it's also a movie that if I happened to see it on streaming, that would have been fine too. There was really nothing that won me over here, and I don't see it. I don't say it like with with happiness because I wanted to like it. I like Luc Besson. I like Danny Elfman. I wanted to like it. Just kind of didn't come together.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that man, that's still Danny Elfman.
Dracula is public domain, I think, at this point.
Weird.
But
the original story of Dracula, yes.
I mean, the thing is that at the time he didn't have the rights, the guy, so he made Nosferatu, and I think there was still a lawsuit, and I think he lost or whatever it is. But the bottom line is, Nosferatu. In recent years, the Nosferatu that I saw, I liked it. I've heard people criticize. People are also telling me, you know, the guy made. I can't remember. I always forget. Who is it? Is it Ryan? Who? Hold on one second.
Yeah.
No, it's not Brian Eggers. Who made that thing? Let me see for a second.
Oh, the newer?
Oh, Robert Eggers. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I
Robert
said
Eggers.
Ryan Eggers.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert Eggers. And some people are like, no, it's not even his best work. Like, you didn't see this, you didn't see that. I don't care. I all I know is that I walked into Nosferatu. I came with like zero expectations. I sat there and I enjoyed the experience. And it was interesting enough for me not to be bored, even though it was not a short movie from what I recall, but I was totally in it, and I enjoyed what I saw. And yeah. So this one, I'm surprised, but I find myself agreeing with the direction of Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think whatever critics there are here, I don't think they got it extremely wrong. I wonder.
Yeah.
Let's see. A few more critic reviews. I don't know who these people are.
People
You
who
know,
are
at the end of the
paid to
movie,
show up.
I see somebody wrote an atmospheric but dull and overlong gothic horror romance that suffers from style over substance. That's fair. I think also, and this is really the part that bothered me, is if this was supposed to really make you interested in the love story, it didn't get that right either. It's like, I think Luc Besson was thinking a lot of himself when he thought that he was going to do this love story well. Luc Besson, there's cool shit he can do. Sorry, Sean. A love story or this thing, I don't think that that's his specialty. You know what? I know what to do. I know how to explain this. I'm not suggesting that when it comes to directors, Luc Besson is like Michael Jordan, but I'll say that Luc Besson directing Dracula is kind of like when Michael Jordan went to play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he a decent enough athlete that I'm sure he didn't fully embarrass himself when playing like in the minor leagues in baseball? I'm sure Michael Jordan was able to not embarrass himself, but he's not like, he didn't become like the biggest star in baseball 5 seconds later. And I think that the kind of insistence, it's always interesting that Jordan insisted on doing that baseball thing, and it just seemed like later to think about it now, it's like a silly afterthought. It's just some dumb footnote that people sometimes mention, people like me.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. That Luc Besson, it's as if he went to play baseball, like in the minors, and I don't think that's his strength. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have that.
Yeah. Wow. That you just talk about like it not working for you, and I just keep coming back to Danny Elfman as a choice for a horror soundtrack. Like that just, wow, it just doesn't seem to fit at all. I wonder how that connection got made, because I mean, when you're talking about like horror, again, I'm not a huge fan of horror, but I've seen plenty of stuff like in the genre and in that area around there. Somebody in the chat was mentioning some of the stuff by Guillermo del Toro, right? Some of those really atmospheric, sort of really kind of disturbing horror films, right? And the music has so much to do with like helping you like feel that same sort of creepiness, that same disturbance that that's happening in the movie. It doesn't just happen visually. There's all of the music around it and the sound design and everything around it. And yeah, man, Danny Elfman, what a weird choice.
Yeah, it is a weird choice, but
I mean, that's like Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Like he did that.
he's not a bum. He's competent.
No,
It's
he's
just-
not. He's not. I'm just saying, like his style,
Right.
like that just doesn't. There's like a mismatch there. Like he did, he did music for a lot of sort of quirky horror things, right?
He's quirky. That's his thing. He is the quirky
Yeah.
horror guy. That's quirky, spooky, whatever it is.
He did Beetlejuice, right? He's done a bunch of
All good stuff. All good stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
Edward Scissorhands. These are all
yeah.
fine. I think that, like, Dracula needed something else, and I think that he wasn't a good match. But in addition, like I said, maybe there was a way to really focus on what he considered such an important love story. Maybe there was a way to focus on it more. But by the time you get around to it, it's like, I just didn't buy it. You know what I mean? If you can't sell me on this thing, if your whole thing is the love story and you can't sell me even on the love story, I think the movie becomes, problematic. And it felt like there was nothing about it that stood out. You could tell that whoever made it is not an idiot, but at the same time, it's not, it's less than the sum of its parts. Something, it's like all these ingredients were thrown together. It just doesn't, deliver the way you want. So there was also Jordan was no Deion Sanders, but definitely not no Bo Jackson. However, I doubt either of them were that good at basketball. Has neither tried that. They were both good at both baseball and football. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
guess. What else? What else did I say that I saw? I'm trying to remember now. The Rip. Okay,
The Rip.
The Rip. So I saw this on Netflix, and you know, it's a movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and it's something of a police crime, a bit of a crime thriller situation, supposedly inspired by some kind of real event. But the bottom line is that there are two police officers that their captain was just kind of deleted, and there's a situation where there's like some kind of stash house that there's a lot of money in, and they arrive with like a police crew there, and there starts like being this suspicion that there's insiders on the police that are looking to steal this money, that there's like you know bad faith actors within the department versus like they start the people there in this situation, they don't know if they can trust each other. A lot of like uh, I can't explain, I don't want to ruin it, but basically there's a bunch of people in this house, there's a lot of stuff going on, nobody knows who can trust, who's going to steal the money, why are they doing it. And at the end of the day, there is nothing groundbreaking about this movie. It's fine. It's just, it does whatever it does. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, it doesn't do anything special. And if you really stop and think about a few things here and there, there's some weird things. I could pick apart the screenplay in a few parts, but somehow, I guess especially seeing Ben Affleck and Matt Damon working together in this movie as like cops or whatever and working together wasn't bad. You know what I mean? I saw an interview that like I think that Matt Damon was saying that when they were young, they're like, "Oh no, we're going to do another movie together." Now he's like, "It's great. Like we're friends. We're going to do a movie together." And you could tell that these guys know how to work with each other. They're very professional in their performances. I thought that they did fine. The movie is not like poorly made. It's all fine, but still, is it the best movie I've ever seen? No. Would I give it a 79? I don't think I would. Not that I would give it a fail. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
give it like if I was very generous, maybe I'd give it like a 70. Something like that, you know what I mean? That's if I'm being generous. Could have been like upper 60s too, but maybe because of the actors, it's sort of competently made. You could kind of consider it. Let's put it this way. When it comes to Netflix and all the garbage they churn out, this is one of the better things that they put there At least you have some real actors in it, and it looks like a movie, and it's not like it's not amateurish or anything like that. It's fine, but I don't think it's neither of their best movies either. You know, it's not the best thing I've ever seen. I mean, I read that the budget was like $100 million, and I was rather surprised because, like, a lot of the movie, they're stuck in the safe house with all that's the stash house, and there's like people like threatening. It doesn't really feel like, I couldn't 100% tell where that $100 million went, but apparently there was a $100 million budget.
Wow. Yeah, it's like it's like every movie just costs $100 million these days.
Yeah, but I really feel like this one could have gotten done for like, 50, 60 or 50. I don't know. It felt like a bit heavy, that for 100 million for this, I'm kind of surprised. Seems like something they could have made for less, but what do I know? I mean, it could also be that like Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck through their production company told them, give us $100 million, we'll give you a movie. And then $50 million went to them, like, sitting on yachts and smoking cigars. And then 50 million went to making the movie. Who knows? Um, Angelo DD says, "You ever see the puppet movie Team America World Police?" Matt Damon. Yeah, of course I saw that. Team America World Police was a movie that like didn't do extremely well in theaters. It was a rare case that I went like there aren't many movies that I've seen twice in the theater. Watched it twice in the movie theater. In both times, I think I sat almost by myself watching it. I thought to myself, "This is just brilliant." And then, of course, later, much later on, through home video and physical media, it became like a cult movie. Same thing that happened to me with like Big Lebowski. Same exact thing that like I don't know. I'm sometimes good at like figuring out something, that it's good even if other people don't. So those were two
Yeah.
cases that I did, and yeah. So that's uh Price gives it a passing fair. Budget went to Duncan's. Yeah, I mean, listen, when you turn on Netflix, there's so much crap on that platform sometimes. This was something that you put in, and it's like a B movie with like pretty decent actors, competently made. It wasn't the worst thing. Like if you're sitting on your couch and you're just like it's late at night and you want to throw something on, definitely watchable. It wasn't a disaster by no means. By no means it was not a disaster. And yeah, the thing with Matt Damon is that he I will give him, if nothing else, he's a good sport. I've seen interviews where people asked him about it, and he seemed like a good sport about it. And he also like he said that there have been a few parts that like a few moments where people met him or brought up the movie, and he was doing his own impression of his own character. So he was like telling them Matt Damon, and everybody
Matt
was like laughing.
Damon.
You know what I mean? Like he at least
Yeah.
seemingly is a good sport. He's not really dwelling on it, and person has to know how to laugh at himself.
Yeah.
I think that thing with Matt Damon is hilarious in Team
I
America
mean,
World Police.
let's be honest, like they could have gone way harder on him in that movie than they did. Basically,
Right.
like he's kind of a dumb, well, actor, like who doesn't really like get like what's going on around him. It just whenever you talk and ask him a question, but just Matt Damon.
It's great.
It's silly. It's kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, like, yeah, they could have done so much worse.
It's rather brilliant. I mean, this is back in the day, before like they started doing weird crap. Back in the day, they did some good stuff. These guys. Anyhow, where was I, Professor? We did this rip thing. So yeah,
Uh,
at the end of the day,
the
twists
rip.
and turns, money missing, corrupt cops, kind of just like by the numbers. Well executed though. The thing itself is like a B level by the numbers. The production, the people involved, the acting, the level of like, the cinematography, the directing, all fine. Probably more than what the movie is. So it's a solid crew working on a movie that otherwise would have been a more forgettable B movie, but not the end of the world. High 60s, maybe a 70. I'd have to think about it, but something along those lines.
Yeah.
So we got that. What else do we got? Have you been watching what's his face? Seven Kingdoms of the Seven
Ooh.
Kingdoms.
Oh, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. No, unfortunately, don't have HBO right now, so
I see.
I have not been watching that. I've heard good and bad. I've heard some people that are really enjoying it. I've heard others that are less than impressed. So what's your feeling? How many episodes have you seen so far?
Okay. So there's been 3 episodes until now, and I have watched all 3 of them. And what I think is that it's all right. Like I don't for me the main course was always the original Game of Thrones series. That show failed to stick the landing, failed to end on a high note and really take us to somewhere important. Like I think that when you fail with your flagship and then it's
Yeah.
always built on these like spin-offs, there's always kind of a sour feeling around it. Um House of the Dragon, I thought that it started off interesting, but season 2 started like, not dipping in quality seriously. Kind of fell off, I think, in the last few episodes of season 2. If I ever wanted to watch it, I'd have to catch up. And the fact that I was like really interested in season 1 and season 2, I'm just like, whatever. I think something didn't not good happened with that show. I saw a
Mhm.
video that Critical Drinker was saying that he thought that Paddy Considine or whatever that actor's name is, played Viserys, or I don't know if that was the name. He played that king in the first season,
Mhm.
but of course we know his fate. And once he was gone in the second season, I think that you really lost one of the more only likable characters on the show. And I liked actually what Drinker was saying, that once you remove him and you don't have like one person at least that you can kind of feel a connection to, that sort of has some good in him. All the rest of the people are just jerks, and it kind of wears you out. So yeah, so there was that season 2 of House of the Dragon. This thing, it's shorter episodes. Each episode is like 30 minutes. It's just like it's fine. I don't know. I mean, some people are really excited about it. I just think it's fine. There's other things you can watch that are worse than this, but I'm not like, I'm not super excited either. I don't necessarily love it, but I don't hate it either. It's all right. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe by the end of the run of this season I'll be like, "Man, they really delivered." But until now it's just kind of like it's fine. Competently made. It's okay, I guess. And
Alright.
the main guy that plays the knight here, he's likable enough. I think he's likable in the role. It's there's a few ideas here that I don't mind, but at the same time, hasn't really like lured me in yet. It hasn't like really captured me in a way that I'm like, I'm all in. Hasn't done that yet.
Okay. Yeah. I think man. I haven't even been interested in watching the House of the Dragon. Like the ending, like we watched, man. We were there every week watching Game of Thrones. Even in some of the seasons that were less than stellar, we were interested in it. We were tied into it. We wanted to see the fate of these different characters and what it was going to happen when the White Walkers finally invaded everything. And then they blew that last season so badly. It just ruined the whole show. It ruined the whole concept. I wasn't interested in anything else that had to do with that universe, right? People can tell me it's it's so good. Oh, and I'm like, I just don't know that I care. It's kind of like the same thing. Like someone was telling me the other day they thought one of the new spin-offs that they had for like The Walking Dead was really good. And I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm totally checked out of this show. I'm totally checked out of this universe. I don't really know that I care enough to come back and watch a new show. Like what's it about? Like them escaping, going across country and escaping from zombies, right? And oh no, it's so much more to it than that. I'm like, okay. Sure, I'll put it on the list of all the other stuff I need to watch, but like I'm not going to get to it anytime soon because I just don't care.
Yeah.
Same goes for these things. I've been hearing, like I said, I've heard lots of people saying Knights of the Seven Kings. They're really loving it. It's great fun, really enjoyable. They're looking forward to seeing where this goes. Other people saying it's just not really. It's not really doing for them the same thing that the short stories, did for them. And then also other people just saying, nah, that's not for me. So I don't know. So mixed. Whenever I do, have HBO again, maybe sometime in the next few months, I'll check it out. But it's not anything I'm just, dashing out to watch. We've been talking about. I've been watching through Fallout as that's been coming out, and man, like I don't think there is already it's supposed to be a third season. I don't think I give a damn at all. I'm gonna finish this season and be like, yep, that was the season of television, and that'll be about it. I'm not sure I care for what they're gonna do next with Fallout because this second season has been just such a disaster. So I think you can only stretch your audience. You can only pull your audience along with you so far when you're making crappy TV, and eventually people are just gonna stop bothering. So
Yeah,
I think I've hit that point with a lot of properties.
that happened to me. I thought the first season was fine. I think a lot of people enjoyed that first season more than I did. I started watching the second season of Fallout. I watched a few episodes and kind of just fell off. It's not that I sat there and I said, "Man, now I got to stop watching it." I couldn't think of I couldn't think of a special reason to put it on. I wasn't that drawn into it. It just kind of was there. Same feeling I had with House of the Dragon season 2. And I guess that's what we're getting now. First seasons which are interesting and season 2s that fall off a cliff. Uh, let's look at these super chats. So we have one from the Dead Man for $4.99. And he says, Price, read the Wagner/Jones Dracula graphic novel. Okay. I don't know where to read that, but I'll have to try to check that out. It reads like a movie. I get it. Well, that sounds pretty cool. Let me see Wagner Jones. What even is that? Wagner Jones. Never heard of it. Okay. Dracula. Let's see. I guess this is it. Let's share this one instead. I guess this is it. Preview. It looks pretty cool. I mean, can't really evaluate it one way or another without reading it, but I understand. Thank you for recommending that. Yeah, Goggins is the best part of season 2, not as good as season 1. I like Goggins in season 1. And it's really the only thing I really liked about it. In season 2, I feel like I still like him, but the show itself kind of lost me. I don't know, just wasn't that great. And yeah, I'm trying to think. Did I go over all the what does our docket say? I'm the greatest host. Always, and I know what's going on. I'm on top of my game. Okay, I wrote that the Trump mocks the Grammy and the Dracula review. So yeah, we did that. That's cool. And I think Professor, maybe he'll have some stories about gaming or something like that in a second. I'm trying to think. Did I forget anything important? I feel like maybe there was something important, and I don't know why I can't think of it. Oh, I did. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but there was some stuff that I saw with, Bill Gates' former wife. Strange interviews about what he may and may not have been doing on a certain island or whatever it is, or the person with the island. A very strange kind of interview. don't want to dwell on that. I also don't know how much every platform likes dwelling on such matters, but I think that for many years, Bill Gates has always seemed like a kind of a strange guy, in my opinion, of course. I said seem. Maybe he's not a strange guy. Seemed kind of like a strange guy to me. Of course, here at Price of Freezing Studios, all we can do is share opinions because we don't have any access to facts. We're not like that guy in England that David Ellison calls him every time he leaves the office. Man, that guy, Ellison leaves a meeting, immediately rushes to call that guy. Just, he's on everybody's speed dial. Iger finishes a board meeting, quickly gives that guy a call. Because that's the guy. That's the guy you want. You want to call him and give him all your information. You want to give him all the scoops. That's just the way it is. No, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but yeah. Oh, there was something interesting that I guess this guy was like showing something about empty theaters. Let's see.
Empty theaters for what?
Basically, somebody wrote this thing, and he was like,
Oh,
I don't know if you could tell. He's like, there are people who think this place is a waste of time and money. It's important that you tell them they're wrong. But the thing is that I saw some answers here, like Razor Fist said, we don't hate your movies, movie theaters. We hate your movies. And Neurotic said, unfortunately, they aren't wrong in any way. This is Hollywood's failure. Yeah, and it's also the prices go up, and I think there's a lot of people saying it's on the expensive now side to see a movie anyways, and yeah, I mean, they're not really
It is
helping.
expensive to see. I mean, it's wildly expensive to see movies now, especially if you're talking about going to see films with a family, right? That was one of the things that for a long time it was always a sure bet whenever you had a family film come out, it was going to make big money. That's because you had not just parents that would take their whole family out to see something, but if it was good, if it was enjoyable, they'd go out and see it a few times, right? And now, if you want, the family of 4 on average, that you're going to buy some popcorn and a couple drinks, maybe some candy, you're talking about $100 for a couple of hours of entertainment.
Yeah,
It's insane. Like for a lot of families, that's just not manageable. At least not on a regular basis.
I will say this: there are certain theaters that have days that they do like a cheaper thing. There's also the thing where you have like the monthly pass. There are things that like exist in some places that work a little better for people that don't want to spend all the money every second. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, especially if you just go once in a while, it's not a cheap experience. But the other thing is, beyond that, the movies also aren't good. And this is the strangest thing that I keep seeing with Hollywood. You see these awards events and all that they're like, no, we got to lecture about politics. We got to lecture. And you're like, no, you don't have to lecture. Like, don't you realize that what you're doing is counterproductive on all levels? You're killing the very industry that, put you wherever you're at. You're just killing it. These actors, somebody was talking about today something about like Javier Bardem, and I always think of him, how he showed up recently, wearing that kind of watermelon attire. Like he had an award ceremony, so he came dressed, this was not this award ceremony. That was let me
but it was recent. It was recent.
Yeah, no, it was really recent. This was in September 2025, okay? I don't know. It was the Emmys. So Grammys, Emmys, same shit. Sorry, Sean. You know what I'm saying? So, like Bardem came like this to an event. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So,
ugh.
It's like, this is how you come to the Emmys, and he was so pompous also, like, he came and he's, like, talking to the microphone and, like, a lot of these are, like, they're not even knowledgeable, they're either they pick and choose whatever, agendas or whatever they wanna push. I think that this is just so ridiculous, and, I don't know. I think that he's not a bad actor, and there have been some movies in the past that I thought he was good in, but man, he's in the same type of like league as Mark Ruffalo, in my opinion. When it comes to
Oh,
like you give him a
that's some.
microphone and he shares his opinion, he's kind of a Ruffalo.
Well, as I've said repeatedly, in a town full of the dumbest people on earth, somehow Mark Ruffalo still manages to be the stupidest person in Hollywood.
No, but
Like,
sometimes I think Bardem gives them
to
a
say
run for his
Bardem,
money.
yeah, to say Bardem is in the same area as him. That's pretty damning. That's
I mean, okay, I'll give Mark Ruffalo that somehow he manages to say the thing like the stupid thing, and he's like even dumber. But Javier Bardem is not really impressing me either. He's lucky that Mark Ruffalo exists, so that people don't think that he's the number one dumbest guy because there's the other dumb guy. You know what I mean? Somehow
yep.
Ruffalo's existence helps Javier Bardem.
In contrast, right?
Yeah.
In contrast. So, oh yeah, he could be worse. He could be as dumb as Mark Ruffalo.
I mean, I mean, another one that people are always like, "Oh, like Melissa Barrera, she's so good." She seems dumb to me too, personally. But whatever. I mean, I will say this, like, if it's freedom of speech, people should be able to say what they want. It's just the fact that always these Hollywood types are peddling these weird narratives, and then, anything else that you have an opinion on, like you're the worst person, that I don't like. And the fact that the media is always kissing these guys' ass, like they'll wear whatever pins and have whatever flavor of the month agenda peddling that they're doing, and nobody's going to say a word in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're always for current thing, whatever that is. It's whatever current thing is.
Elizabeth Quinn says she listens because Professor R2 has the same reaction as I do, like hearing myself in stereo. So, sorry, Elizabeth. I guess she doesn't share my views. My views are an acquired taste, though. I will say
yes,
that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he shocks his dog. That's a different guy. But the minimum I can give a Bardem is I don't think he sits around shocking his dog. That's really something that you have to be that's even beyond having like stupid takes and opinions about like world events that you don't know a lot about. That's just being like a terrible, even more. See, with like Bardem, I don't know that he's like a bad guy as much as kind of like, in my opinion, humble opinion, I think he's an idiot. But like with the guy with the dog, that guy is not, I don't think that guy acts in good faith. If you know what I mean.
Oh, you mean like certain streamers who shock their dogs?
Oh yeah, people are saying that Giancarlo Esposito. That really depressed me because
Yeah,
because the thing is, I really like him as an actor, and he always seemed like a cool guy whenever they interviewed him. And now he's like, "Oh, we got to do a revolution. We got to overthrow the government. And we need a civil war." It's like, dude. And as people were saying, like a guy. This reminds me of Bardem in a way, a guy that's dressed like he's going to some snooty festival for like indie movies. He's like walking around like saying, "Oh, we got to start a civil war and a revolution." You're not starting. You're not starting a revolution. You're wearing some weird scarf. You're not wearing a. You're not starting a revolution. You have like a blue suit with a strange scarf. I think that you're not. You're going to be nowhere near this revolution. You're not doing a civil war. You're not doing much of anything. Comes out and says all this shit and leaves. I mean, dude, I liked you as Gustavo. I think your performance on Breaking Bad was excellent, but man, let's not get confused here. This weird scarf revolution here. I don't know what's going on here, but really bad idea.
Yeah.
You said you had some gaming news, so I
No,
wanted
well,
to hear what you had
it
to
was
say.
funny that you mentioned we didn't talk about it the other day. Did you see that Hassan was actually banned on Twitch for a bit?
Yeah, but I never care about that because you know what? Because 5 minutes later he's there. Like it's
He's going to
usually
be
when they
back on
do
there,
it.
yeah. But who do you think he blames for being banned?
Oh, it's probably the it starts with a J, I assume.
Yeah, the juice.
The juice. Yeah,
Yes,
I understand.
yes. He blames the juice for his being banned.
It's so stupid. It's
Idiot,
so stupid because
idiot.
the thing is that he should have been banned long ago. But yeah, go on. What do you
Permanently
know about his
banned.
banning?
Permanently banned long ago. Yeah, he made some statements. Very defamatory statements on his stream, which he does regularly. So I don't know why that's anything different. But he called a race of people pigs, and apparently that was enough for them to get very upset and took him offline for a little bit. As far
Like
as I know,
2
he's
hours, yeah.
still well. No, as far as I know, he's still offline. It's been since the 29th or the 30th, so it's been a few days.
It'll be like
so
a week
far.
ban. He's
Yeah,
gonna be back
it'll
in
be
no
like a
time.
week at most, and he'll be back because you know why? Twitch likes their money, and boy, do Hassan's weirdos cough up the money. So
It's kind of sad though.
yeah.
It worries me that he has so many weirdos that are willing to cough up money.
Oh,
'Cause what does it
it's
say about those weirdos?
oh yeah, no, they're psychos. They're nuts, man. The people that follow him, like, and listen to the absolute just drivel that pours from his mouth every day, the hatred and idiocy that comes out from him every single day. Like, there's people out there that listen to that stuff. Now, are there as many people that are there as many people that listen to him as listen to other perhaps more influential, more worthwhile people? No, but he does have a pretty big following, and yeah, he's disgusting. He's constantly defending all kinds of just awful stuff. He's literally brought terrorists onto his show and let them spread propaganda. It's mind-blowing that he's been allowed to continue on Twitch. It's insane.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I totally
insane.
agree.
But yeah, no, apparently he blames his latest ban on the juice. Sometimes apparently that's enough to get you banned, is saying stuff
He's said so
that's
much bad stuff.
defamatory about an entire race.
I'm
So,
surprising
yeah.
that this was like the straw that broke the camel's back because he just says such crap all the time. But yeah,
Oh yeah, no, that's absurd. So this one, I've actually been holding on to this one for a while. I had this tab open. Have you heard of Fable Price?
I have heard. I have heard of this.
Okay,
yes.
so this is one that made a lot of news because the main character was a woman, and not just a woman, but laughably fugly. It was one of these new, games where they put in the female character and like their face is all messed up. Like they're not
Yeah, I
pretty
think
at
I know
all.
which one that was. I know
Okay.
exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So yeah, this game has been in development for over 9 years at this point. It'll be just shy of 10 years by the time it gets released, if it comes out in autumn as it's said to be released. And this is from a studio that is owned by Microsoft. And so normally this would be a Microsoft exclusive. It would be coming only to their platform. It would be coming only to the Gold Pass or whatever that you have for Microsoft to get access to their games for basically, well, not for free. You pay for the pass, but you get to access any of their new titles immediately. And now they've announced that this is also going to be coming to the PS5. And there's been a lot of speculation as to why this is. Why are they really? I mean, this is Microsoft for, first party studio owned by Microsoft. Why are they putting this out on PlayStation? Well, a lot of people are assuming that the Gold Pass, whatever the Game Pass, is not making them the money anymore. And in fact, that it's a money loser because it's not helping them sell consoles, and it's not gaining them the revenue that they need to support all these studios and all these games that are coming out. So several things have been cleared up about the game. One, they have improved the appearance of the main character. She doesn't look like some sort of troll or whatever it was she looked like before. So that's been improved. And there's been some images that have been shown from, supposedly directly from the game engine that look kind of nice. But again, the big news here is that it's coming to PlayStation, a first-party Microsoft title. This is not something that seems to be coming from an area of strength on Microsoft's part. They need the extra revenue for this game so they're selling it on other platforms. Now, is it going to sell all that well? I really couldn't tell you. I'm not interested in buying it because I know what studios it's coming from and I know who was in charge of it. So even if it is coming to PlayStation, and even if they fix the appearance of the main character, it is guaranteed to be filled with all sorts of ideology in this game, without a question. There's going to be all sorts of weird stuff that's going to be in here. So yeah, not anything that really is changing my mind on things, but rather fascinating that they have to release it on PlayStation because they need that extra revenue. So not good for Microsoft. See, what else did I have here?
You tell me.
Oh, just looking. Not gaming related, but there's another tab. Something we hadn't really mentioned here. We didn't talk about Colbert getting an official end date for his show. He was on one of the other talk shows, Seth Meyers. He was on with Seth Meyers, which, I mean, that show's not going to be long for this world either, if you know what I mean.
Misery loves company, yeah.
Yeah, but announcing that his end of his show will be Thursday, May 22nd. So yeah, he has just a few months left of the show, and then that will be the end for his show. So good riddance. Goodbye, and don't come back. And never, ever, ever voice a computer in Star Trek again, because
I almost feel like
embarrassment.
That role with the computer, I feel like they just added him in post-production.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Guaranteed.
They wanted to throw him a bone because he was canceled. So I think they're like, look, we support Stephen Colbert. Because really, what does he do? Nothing. They're just walking around. Suddenly you hear some announcement in the background that's just dumb. Anybody could have said it, and he doesn't say anything interesting. But every episode, they let him say a few lines. So he gets his, whatever, it's barely a cameo, a voice cameo, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Almost nothing, really.
And also, so he gets that. He's also, I don't know if you saw, he's been rather consistent with his, F ice comments on his show in recent weeks. And he also, I saw something, I believe.
You didn't say F ice when Obama was president. I don't recall.
Oh, never. Of course not. No, he wouldn't do that. There was also, I believe, did I see that he did an interview with Don Lemon after he was arrested? Yeah, that was...
it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Yeah,
but,
Don Lemon looking down the barrel of a very large fine and potentially multiple years in jail. I've been loving to see all the people who've been going out try to defend him and what he did.
I don't think he's going to
He's
spend years in jail. He's probably going to get up with close
big
to
fine,
nothing. But at the
a
same
big fine
time,
maybe, but
he was annoying. Like, he did something wrong, and there's no point in pretending that he didn't do something wrong.
oh, I was just a journalist. I was only there to report. No, if you were a journalist, as soon as you knew that those people were going to be involved in illegal activity, you do not participate in that illegal activity. Okay. You don't go inside the church disrupting their, their right to, observe their religion, their right to have their religious services. You not go into the church to disrupt that, put a microphone up in pastor's face and start asking him questions. And most importantly, if you do go inside there and you're disruptive and you are asked to leave, you do it. Because once you don't, now there's a problem, right?
Yep.
Technically private property. So you're trespassing when they asked you to leave. If you at any point prevented anyone from leaving, you were in any way, confining them in that space, not allowing them to leave, then you are, you were holding them there. You were not allowing them to leave of their own, of their own free will. And so that's, there's obstruction stuff and whatever. There are so many things he recorded himself doing in there that they could very easily charge him with. And so, yeah, I think he will have his day in court. I don't think this is something that's going to be thrown out before he's up in front of a judge and jury, most likely. But,
I think it'll get to
yeah.
court, but I
Yeah.
can't see him getting like anything serious. But it is what it is.
But hopefully, at the very least, the others who were there will get something more. But yeah, I mean, right now they primarily are looking at the conspiracy for Don Lemon, which I think is pretty easily shown. He recorded it himself. He has video of him talking to the people who are going to invade this church illegally and disrupt their services there illegally. He's talking to them. And then he says, while they're talking about their plans, he says, "Oh, I need to turn the camera off so I don't record what you're talking about." So he knew very well that what they were talking about doing was illegal, that he did not want to be recording it. It could be used as evidence. So that shows that he was participating in some level with what they were doing. He also, he says, "Oh, well, I know I went in on my own as a journalist." You went in and you put your microphone in people's faces. You were disruptive. It's not a matter of, well, I didn't open the door for them and let them in, so I'm not part of this. So you were inside there at the same time those people were in there yelling things, disrupting, putting camera in people's faces. That is not okay. Doesn't matter if you weren't necessarily there with them participating in their quote unquote protest, which it wasn't. It was not a protest. It was an act of terrorism, but it doesn't matter if you were there with them or not. What you did on your own was a violation of, Dead Man Says, the FACE Act. That's what it is. Yes. Which people were, so a lot of people have taken out taken the FACE Act out of context. They said the FACE Act is supposed to, keep people from disrupting abortion clinics and stuff, which it is. But when it was written, it was also written in that the exact same rules apply to religious services taking place inside of a religious, building, a place of worship, as it says in
I agree.
the text. So if he had just interrupted some people praying on the street, no problem. Whatever. If he had gone to a rally and someone was doing something and he was in their faces or whatever, it was Christian rally, completely different thing. But when it comes to being inside of that religious space and disrupting their right to exercise their religion and participate in their services there. That was when he crossed the line. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's gonna matter depending on exactly what court it's in. It's gonna matter what jury they're able to impanel for this. But yeah, it's it's not something that he's just going to get off with a slap on the wrist, though. I think he is going to see some kind of consequences for it. Likely not jail time, but I don't know. We'll see. Potentially jail time for some of the other people, though. And they've arrested, I think, 5 or 6 of them now. That were some of the ringleaders of that whole.
He's going to benefit from the situation somehow, but yeah, I mean,
well, I suppose we'll see.
We'll see what happens. I've never really taken that guy seriously. I don't really, don't have anything great to say about him.
Here, I think we can. I'll share this last one here. We can call it after this. This one. Did you see this today, Price? Any of this?
Minecraft. I saw something. Remind me.
Okay, so Minecraft put out. This is actually not new. It came out last year. It's called the Good Trouble DLC. Good Trouble. This is I believe it was a term that John Lewis, a former congressman, introduced. This DLC, free DLC, available to download in Minecraft to explore global civil rights movements, meet change makers, and learn how to stand up, speak out, and build a better world. So it's following this idea, this desire to teach young people to make good trouble. In other words, be activists, right? So they put this out last year. It really just was sort of there. Like they didn't really promote it very much. It was just sort of there. But this year they had a big promotion for it, so it caught a lot of people's attention, and so it has been absolutely raked over the coals by a bunch of people. So much so that this little announcement that they put on X, eventually they closed it to new comments so that people could not comment on it anymore. So some of these were absolutely hilarious. You'll see some names in here like Smash JT. You are a cult trying to get at kids to indoctrinate them with left-wing ideologies and further your own political propaganda. Yeah. I miss the old Minecraft that wasn't promoting identity politics in a kid's game. Yes. Get this propaganda out of Minecraft. Modern political propaganda. Use a Tim Waltz quote in a kid's video game. You're disgusting. Taking civil rights leaders and letting people virtually walk with cartoon versions of them is also gross and disgusting, and a lot of other things. None of them good. So people were absolutely tearing this apart. This is a kid's game. And you're going to come in here and you're going to what? You can cross the bridge in Selma with a bunch of blocky fake versions of civil rights leaders. Right. It's first of all, it's absurd. What kid wants to play that? Right. What kid wants to do that? But then, we're just going to shove all of this agenda stuff, shove all of this identity politics stuff, trying to propagandize children. We're going to shove all of this into a kid's game. Great idea, guys. Wow. Yeah. So far, not going well for them. Like I said, they had to close their post so that people could no longer comment because they were getting absolutely roasted. So, Microsoft again. Microsoft, like I said, with the Fable game, the early Fable games, the ones that came out for like the 360 and in that generation, some of those were quite good, very enjoyable. Now, I don't want anything Microsoft's making because I know the type of stuff that they're squeezing in to their games, and I'm not interested in seeing it. So yeah, that was the one from today that a lot of people had been talking about. Adam Gray says, "Is Rosa Parks in Fortnite yet?" If she does, she's going to be protesting by taking a front seat in the battle bus. So that's all I know.
Well, none of this sounded that good, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Was there anything else that we missed, Professor? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Anything else that we missed? Well, there might be one other thing that kind of came up. They are moving forward. With the Paramount, or no, sorry, not Paramount. The Netflix deal. That's going to be moving forward. It's going to be coming up for a vote very soon. So we're going to see how that goes. It has to clear. There's some regulatory stuff that needs to be cleared. And then sometime very soon, probably end of the month, maybe early March, we're expected to see the shareholders vote on the Netflix deal with Warner Brothers. So the Warner Brothers shareholders saying whether they want to take that deal or not. So right now, the Paramount Skydance deal is really not even on the table. They're just looking at whether or not they want the shareholders are interested in the Netflix deal. So it looks like probably Paramount Skydance is probably out of the game, unless for some reason there's a bunch of shareholders that come in and say, no, we don't want this.
No,
this
but
Netflix
between the
deal.
regulatory issues and them maybe suing them in court, it's going to be a headache that could last for a while. I don't know that, I don't know that they're just going to give up.
No, I don't think they're gonna give up. I think really what would happen if this they vote for this to go forward, then obviously then all of the talks start with the regulatory agencies. Like, are you going to allow this merger to take place? And that could drag out for a long time. We've seen that drag out for years with other big mergers, big purchases like this. And so I would imagine that's probably going to take quite some time. And again, I'm not sure that, that Trump's, him and his administration are interested in approving this merger. They might have their own ideas for why they wouldn't, but it all just depends. It all just depends. So yeah, I would bet, like you said, it's going to get dragged out for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that once it gets dragged out for a while, the main winner is Netflix, because I will still argue that it's not so much that Netflix really wanted Warner Brothers as much as they understood that if they don't get Warner Brothers, Paramount, who's like the fourth biggest streamer, gets like the second biggest streamer, and now they have like a real competition here, because like there's like an actual, it becomes trickier. So that's the main reason they were willing to do the thing where they bind money and give a deposit and all that stuff. Even if they lose the deposit, even if they lose $1 billion or whatever it is, or a few $1 billion, it may seem like a ton to us, but them thinking now that for years Paramount won't be able to have all these IPs and these things and all that, it really weakens Paramount. So do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Anyhow, we'll see how it all plays out. I think that if you have some names, we can say goodbye to people.
Yeah. Give me just a second here. Make sure I got everybody. And yeah, I think I got everybody over here on Rumble. So yeah, there's our list. Rumble.
Okay, so Elizabeth Quince, Istophobos, Phantom Monk, Double R Star, Angelo DD, Dude Bro Set 420, Cheers, Loyish, and B-Roll Stage.
Yeah, we had 40 unique people in our YouTube chat this evening. So fantastic turnout. I appreciate that, everybody. Let's see. Here in the chat, we had the Dead Man, Jason Webster, Karate Werewolf, Caleb Levine, CC Karaoke was hanging out in the chat with us tonight. Adam Gray, Yitis, Istphobos, The Real Head Case, Tim Hayes, Pete Roble, Tomahawk 511, E. Clay Thomason, Admiral Teague, Phantom Outsider, Tony Grigio, Andrew Zacchius, Rod Nyson, Jonathan Conroy, Lasher, Kay Roberts, Badfoot, Phantom Monk, Gavin Blackburn, Parrot Heads, Waylon Bocephus, Vex Electronica, Mur Rockstro, iLord Corey, Stephen Mack, Peterson 88 Keys, Marla Sharondoff, The Grim Dark, Core Setup, Kodo Rob 22, Destiny Captain 247, Phaser 1X, Piku, and Piotr Dudek 72. Woo!
Nice.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, everybody. Appreciate it.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks, guys. Marla Sharndov said, I love this channel. Thank you so much, Marla.
We appreciate it,
friend of
Marla.
the
When
channel.
we appreciate you hanging out in our chat here.
We really
And
do, Marla. So thank you.
like
Thank you for the kind words.
Like your input in the chat
Also,
as
a few
well.
other Angelo DD said, great show, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is what we enjoy. We enjoy doing this. So, if you guys are having a good time and we're having a good time, kind of like that. Anyhow, I guess we've...
Yeah, I think we've covered it for this evening. Obviously, we'll be back here on Thursday, same time, same price channel.
Lord Corey says, they said
Yep.
my effing name. Sorry, Sean. Lord Corey, I think, is the person that every time we're done with a stream, he leaves a comment that says, we out here. And yes, you are out here. I think it's you.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, I guess it's a fun hangout. We enjoy hanging out with you guys. This is all fun for everybody, yeah.
Oh, you might. We got a raid from Noise Pollution over on Rumble. We appreciate that raid. Unfortunately, we're just about to head out, but thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
over.
But I feel bad.
We appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, though.
We'll be back on Thursday. Unfortunately, between here and there is a new episode of Starfleet Academy. I have a feeling it's going to break my heart, but we'll just wait and see. It's not gonna be fun.
It's
I know
gonna
that
be a
much.
pain in the ass, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, the suffering.
Stay safe and happy. Thank you, Jason Webster. Same to you.
Appreciate it, Jason Webster. Yep.
So yeah, you guys all have a great night, and we'll see you here on Thursday.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.